Well, all praise to the Most High. Sisters, how are we doing this Sabbath day? And brothers, how are we doing? All praises. Shalom to the brothers and sisters online. We say shalom to you all the IUIC camps. We also say shalom to those who cannot be among us, who are at home or at work. We also say shalom to our frenemies as well as our enemies. Shalom. See, that gave a shout out to everybody. Today we're going to talk about God and the Iron Fist program. Shh. All right, there's a lot of chattering going on. We're going to talk about God and the Iron Fist program today. We're going to open up with Galatians, the 5th chapter. All right, I have a quick question, brothers. In order to understand the writings of Paul, what must you be acquainted with reading? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Only one hand is up, maybe two. All right, I see a third hand. Let me ask. Let me take a look. On my left. On my left. One of the brothers on my left. Just pick one of the guys on my left.
Shalom, Obadiah.
Shalom, Obadiah.
The book of Acts.
Correct. You must acquaint yourself with the writings of the book of Acts to understand the epistles of the Apostle Paul. If you are not familiar, hey, over here, Chatterbox, this whole section, what's going on? Should we know of anything? Okay, you got an excuse. I'll roll with y'all with that. Make sure everything's yeah. All right, Northern Kingdom. I'm gonna have a class on Northern Kingdom, so I think you might want to be there, Aithana, to hold back the fire. Northern Kingdom, y'all gonna get it, Lord. Right, so let's open up with the book of Galatians, the 5th chapter. After I read that thing with Alicia, said to the king of Northern Kingdom, I said, wow, Northern Kingdom, I tell you, no good kings. Galatians. Let me look. We're going to go to Galatians. Who's reading for me today? I don't have a reader today.
Officer Liam.
All right, Officer Liam. One second. I'm looking at something. You know what's funny is that when you're about to go over class, your mind is shooting here and shooting there. You got 1,000 things in your mind. And, Okay, go to Acts. Before we go there, Acts 18 and verse 23. I want to start there.
Yes, sir. The book of Acts, chapter 18, verse 23. And after he had spent some time there, he departed and went over all the country of Galatia and Phrygia, in order, strengthening all the disciples.
So the book of Galatians is written to those Israelite disciples. The word disciples means students. So he went throughout all Galatia. So now when we get to the book of Galatians, and we're going to go to the 5th chapter, I believe chapters 1 through 4. There are many YouTube lessons on the book of Galatians that we have up, correct? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Are they still up?
Yes.
I know YouTube is systematically shutting down our videos. So if you brothers and sisters have not either downloaded or gotten the copies from OR, shame on you. So obviously, Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Read it again.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free.
Write this down. The liberty wherein Christ has made us free is referring to the New Testament, the New Covenant, wherein Christ died for the sins of the nation of Israel. Read it again.
Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Write this down. The yoke of bondage is the old covenant of animal sacrifice. The yoke of bondage is the old covenant of animal sacrifice. Let's prove that. Give me Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8. Let's start at verse 8, Officer Leon.
Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8.
Because we're going here because, number one, Galatians 5:1, he talked about liberty. Then he talked about a yoke of bondage.
Sir.
All right, come on.
Yes, sir. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not.
So we broke the old covenant. We messed that thing up 100%. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord.
So this new covenant is not for all nations. It's only for Israel. Go ahead.
I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
So from there, give me the book. Jump down to verse 13. I'm sorry.
Verse 13. In that he saith, a new covenant he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
So that's one precept. I'm going to give you another precept. Let's go to Acts 13. Acts chapter 13, and I want verse 38 and 39.
Acts chapter 13 and verse 38. Be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins.
So this man is referring to Christ. Go ahead.
And by him all that believe are justified from all things.
So under the New Testament, New Covenant, we are justified from all things
from which ye could not be justified by the law of Moses.
Because the old covenant was a yoke of bondage. It could not justify us. If you were an idolater, death for you. If you committed fornication, death for you. There were many sins that the old covenant law of animal sacrifice could not justify you from. Okay, Acts 15 verse 10 now. Yoke of bondage.
The book of Acts chapter 15 and verse 10. Now therefore, why tempt ye God to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear?
You see that? Jump up to verse 5.
Verse 5. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees, which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
The law of Moses making reference to animal sacrifice. Now jump down to verse 10 again.
Now therefore, why tempt ye God to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples?
You see what they're calling the law of Moses? A yoke. They're calling it a yoke. Go ahead.
To put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear.
We broke that old covenant. We could not bear it. Okay. Everybody with me so far? Let's go back to Galatians 5. So this is why it's paramount that we familiarize ourselves with the book of Acts. Galatians 5 and 1 again.
Yes, sir. Galatians chapter 5 and verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing.
There was a big doctrine. That's what we just read in Acts 15, verse 5. They said, except you be circumcised, you can't be saved. That was the doctrine back then. And that circumcision not only included circumcision of your penis, it meant circumcision in the law. You had to do every iota. Okay, watch this. Read it again, verse 2.
Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if you be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing.
Why? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7:19. 1 Corinthians 7, verse 19.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 19. Circumcision is nothing.
Circumcision is nothing.
And uncircumcision is nothing.
And uncircumcision is nothing.
But the keeping of the commandments of God.
But the keeping of the commandments of God. Why is that important? Because you had the circumcised Israelites breaking the commandments, referring to the, I'm going to prove that. Give me Matthew 23, and I think it's verse 1 and 2, where it says, don't do as they do, something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Matthew 23. We're coming back to Corinthians.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 2, saying, the scribe and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
Mm-hmm.
All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
They were hypocrites. So go back to 1 Corinthians 7:19. This is why this statement was made.
Circumcision is nothing.
Circumcision is not. The scribes and Pharisees, they were circumcised. Paul says circumcision is nothing. Go ahead.
And uncircumcision is nothing.
And the uncircumcision is nothing. Go ahead.
But the keeping of the commandments of God.
That's what the Lord is looking for. Keeping the commandments. Now, listen good to what I'm about to say to you, brothers, right now. You have Christians that use that verse to say, see, you don't have to be circumcised. That's not what Paul is saying. He's saying that those that are circumcised are breaking God's law, and those that are uncircumcised are breaking God's law. God wants us to keep the commandments. Nowhere in there did he say the law of circumcision is done away with. He did not say that. Everybody with me so far? Okay. Let me just prove that, since I know some of y'all might still got Christianity on the brain. Give me Romans 4. Some of y'all got Caesar Bow on the brain. TD on the brain. Creflo on the brain. Romans 4 and verse, let's start at verse 9.
The book of Romans, chapter 4 and verse 9.
Now let me fill in the gaps. Remember, there was a split in the nation of Israel. Everybody with me so far? You had Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom, they was the devil the Bible speaks of. They went into idolatry. Okay. Judah, the kingdom of Judah was supposedly keeping the law. Everybody with me so far? I'm going to get Northern Kingdom. One day coming up, y'all going to get it. Yeah, you following Judah? Okay, so you're okay. Start at verse 9. So now, watch this. Judah was saying Northern Kingdom Israelites are not accepted because they are not circumcised. That was the argument. Verse 9.
Romans chapter 4 verse 9. Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also?
So does the blessings only come on Judah, the kingdom of Judah only, and not on the Northern Kingdom? Go ahead.
For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
How was it then reckoned? When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision.
Meaning what? Paul was a master of the law. When did God deal with Abraham? When he got circumcised or before he got circumcised? Before he got circumcised. So Paul cut the argument. He said God dealt with Abraham when he was uncircumcised. Watch the next verse.
And he received the sign of circumcision.
Now this is going to answer, should you be circumcised today? Verse 11 again.
And he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of the righteousness of the faith, which he had yet being uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all them that believe, though they be not circumcised, that righteousness might be imputed unto them also.
Y'all see that? That's some heavy stuff right there. So that doesn't mean because God dealt with Abraham when he was uncircumcised that the Lord said, well, you know what? To hell with circumcision. No, Abraham went and got circumcised as a seal of righteousness. So now likewise, you got many brothers come into this truth. God's dealing with you on certain levels. Okay, should you get circumcised? Yes. But it's not the first thing you need to do. The first thing you need to do is have what? Faith. That is the first thing you have to have. Faith in Christ. Then in time, get circumcised. That was the argument of Acts 15. Same argument. Let's go back to Galatians. No, 1 Corinthians 7:19 again.
1 Corinthians 7 verse 19. Circumcision is nothing and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the commandments of God.
That's the point. So I hope everybody understands that, right? Y'all with me? All right, Galatians 5, and what verse we at?
We have verse
3.
3. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Christ is become of no effect unto you.
Wait, read verse 3 again. I'm sorry.
For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law.
That he is a debtor to do the whole law. So now you got to remember what happened in Acts. Acts 15, verse 5. They said, except you be circumcised and keep the law of Moses, you cannot be saved. What were they talking about? The same thing we're reading here. Verse 3 again. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law. Watch this. He's going back to Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 26. Let's read that. Deuteronomy chapter 27 and verse 26. Paul is explaining what it means to be a debtor to do the whole law. So we're going back to the old covenant, what was stated, what was stipulated. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 27 and verse 26. Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them. And all the people shall say, Amen.
So when it said you're cursed if you don't do all the law, that includes animal sacrifice. And all of Israel said amen to that statement. Now go to James 2 and 10. Watch this. James 2 and 10 is another scripture that Christians use to not keep the commandments.
James chapter 2 and verse 10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law.
That's the key. The whole law is referring to the old covenant. That's what it's talking about, right?
And yet offend in one point.
If you offend in one point,
he is guilty of all.
You're guilty of all. So James was explaining the same thing Paul addressed that we just read, that Moses addressed in Deuteronomy 27 and 6. The old covenant was that if you broke one, you broke them all. That was the old covenant. Everybody with me so far? Read it again.
For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
Mm-hmm.
For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. Now, if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law. So speak ye, and so do. And they that shall be judged by the law of liberty.
See that? The law of liberty. That's the new covenant. The law of liberty is the new covenant. Everybody with me so far? I don't want to lose nobody. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. We're in verse 4 now.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 4. Christ is become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law, you are fallen from grace.
If you are justified by the law, what law? The law of animal sacrifice, the old covenant laws. Everybody with me so far? You have to be able to make a distinction. It says ye are fallen from grace. Grace it's another word for liberty. Grace is another word for the new covenant in Christ. Watch this. Give me John 1:17. And if you don't know, now you know. John 1:17.
John chapter 1, verse 17. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ.
See that? The law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. So it's making a distinction. You got to know, what's he talking about? Talking about the law of animal sacrifice, the grace referring to the sacrifice of Christ. Old covenant, new covenant. Everybody with me so far? If I'm going too fast, just let me know. Just let me know. You got to be able to make the distinction when you're reading. What are they talking about? Let's go back. Actually, give me Hebrews 10, 4 through 10. Hebrews 10. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 10.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Mm-hmm. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me.
So now, chapter 10, the Apostle Paul is explaining what part of the law was done away with. Was it the dietary law done away with? Was the civil laws done away with? Were the moral laws done away with? Were the ceremonial laws done away with? Or were the sacrificial laws done away with? There's 5 categories. So now here in chapter 10, he's going to make it crystal clear what part of the law was done away with. Read.
For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. In burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, thou hast had no pleasure. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, to do thy will, O God.
Meaning what? The prophecies of Christ coming was prophesied from Genesis all the way to the end. Go ahead.
Above when he said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin, thou wouldest not, neither hast pleasure in therein, which are offered by the law.
See that? Verse 8 is the key. Which are offered by the law. The law. Offered by the law. So when you read about we are not under the law, it's referring to what we're reading right here. Everybody with me so far? So when we read about you, if you broke one, you've broke one law, you're broken them all. We're reading exactly what we're reading. We're reading exactly what we're reading. We're reading. Paul is explaining what we're reading about right here. Go ahead.
Then said he, Lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He taketh away the first.
He taketh away the first, meaning the first covenant of animal sacrifice.
That he may establish the second.
That he may establish the second covenant, the new covenant. Go ahead.
By the which will we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all.
There you go. Let's go back now to Galatians. Galatians chapter 5. Read verse 4 again.
Christ is become of no effect unto you, whosoever of you are justified by the law.
So they were saying what? I do my animal sacrifice. I pay my tithing. I do this with the Levites. They do the Day of Atonement for me. He said, you're not justified by that. Okay, go ahead.
Ye are fallen from grace.
You've left Christ. Go ahead.
For we through the Spirit wait for the hope of righteousness by faith.
Mm-hmm.
For in Jesus Christ neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but faith which worketh by love.
So in verse 6, he's repeating what he said in verse 2. He's saying, for in Jesus Christ, neither circumcision avails anything, nor uncircumcision. It goes right back to 1 Corinthians 7. Go back to 1 Corinthians 7:19 once again. He's reiterating, because there was a big doctrinal argument at this time. You had to be circumcised and keep animal sacrifice for salvation. That was the argument. Read that again.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 19. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the commandments of God.
Watch this. Let me show you something about the heavy writings of Paul. Go to Acts, I believe it's chapter 20 or 21. Let me look real quick. Bear with me. Acts chapter 20. Boy, here we go. Find me the scripture. It's right around here somewhere, where Peter says, what is it therefore, brethren? We must needs come together. For they have heard that thou teachest men to forsake the law. Okay, it's Acts 21. Verse 22? Okay. Okay, Acts 21, and let's start at verse 20. Watch this.
Acts 21 and verse 20.
Now we're reading this. I just want to show you what, based on what we read in Galatians 5 and 1 Corinthians, is going to coincide with what we're reading here.
And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said unto him, Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. Mm-hmm. And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs.
You see that? Where would they get that misconception from? His letters. His letters. His letters. He says circumcision is nothing. Circumcision is nothing. Uncircumcision is nothing. So somebody who's not studied will go, hey, Paul is saying we don't have to be circumcised. That's where the misconception was coming from. What? Hold that. Give me 1 Peter's chapters 3 or 2. Chapter 3. Give me that. Because the apostle Peter had to check out the letters of Paul. 2 Peter's, thank you.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 15.
Wait. Yes.
2 Peter 3:15. And account that the long suffering of our Lord is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things.
Stop. So this lets you know that Peter had to read Paul's letters. Before them letters went out, Peter got a copy of it. He said, let me see what you're writing. So go ahead, verse 16 again.
And also in all his epistles.
The word epistle means letters or writings. Go ahead.
Speaking in them of these things, and which are some things hard to be understood.
Like what? Circumcision is nothing. Uncircumcision is nothing. That's hard. The average person would be like, I don't got to get circumcised. Go ahead.
Which they that are unlearned and unstable
and mentally unstable or spiritually unstable struggle. The word rest means you struggle with the understanding. Why? Because your mind ain't right. You don't want to keep the commandments in the first place. So the second you read his letters, that's justification. We got to keep the commandments. That's what you do. That's what Christianity does. Go ahead.
As they do also the other scriptures.
As they do also what other scriptures? The Old Testament. Because the New Testament wasn't written yet. Go ahead.
Unto their own destruction.
Wow. Unto their own deaths. Unto their own destruction. Okay.
Show you what you say is key, because not only in Paul letter, even in our Old Testament, these spirits were trying to look for loopholes to break God's commandments. You understand? That's why when they said that their whole thing is for their own destruction in the first place, these spirit back.
Exactly. Let's go back to Galatians. Verse 6 again.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 6. For in Jesus Christ, neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision.
Right, because Christ died for both the circumcised Israelites as well as the uncircumcised Israelites. And he said, if you love me, what?
Keep my commandments.
That's it. Go ahead.
But faith which worketh by love.
Faith with worketh. What is love, brothers? Keeping the commandments. Very good. Verse 7.
Ye did run well.
You did run well in this truth.
Who did hinder you?
Who hindered you in this running, in your walk? Go ahead.
That ye should not obey the truth.
Let's go back to Acts 15, verse 5 again. So we got to know that Paul's letters are based on the writings in Acts. If you have not read Acts, you're going to look at his letters and go, I'm confused. I don't know what he's talking about. Then stay out of his letters until you read Acts.
Acts chapter 15 and verse 5. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees, which believed.
When you see that part where it says which believed? That means they believed in who? Christ. That's what they're alleging. Go ahead.
Saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
Read verse 1.
Verse 1.
Let's read 1 through 5.
Yes, sir. Acts 15, verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. When
wait, after the manner of Moses. The manner of Moses said you had to be circumcised on what day?
8th day.
The 8th day. Dag. So remember that whole generation that came out with Joshua? Was they the 8th day when they got circumcised? No, most of them was all full-grown adults. With following the Pharisees, they would have been jacked up. No, y'all can't be saved because y'all all got circumcised when you was 25 and 30, so this ain't for you. That's how the Pharisees was rolling. Read it again.
And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said,
Abraham would have been messed up. He didn't get circumcised on the 8th day. Go ahead.
Except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them.
You see that word disputation? That means arguing. And it says it was not small. Right. It was a big confusion in the church. That's why when things happen here in IUIC, don't be shocked. It happened back then. Things are happening now. It's give me a word. It's parallel. It's similar. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So why is this argument going on in the church? What's going on? I'm confused. It happened during the time of the apostles too. You had idiots rise up with doctrines. Go ahead.
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, They determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles. And they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church and of the apostles and elders. And they declared all things that God had done with them. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses. And the apostles and elders came together for to consider of this matter.
Now let's go back to Galatians chapter. Let's go to chapter 2. Watch what happened. See, Galatians fills in the missing pieces that Acts gives I always tell people this. The New Testament is an abbreviation. You're not getting everything. You got to put the precepts together in the New Testament. Everybody with me so far? You understand? Watch this. Galatians chapter 2. Let's start at verse 1.
Galatians 2 verse 1. Then 14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain.
This is filling in what we read in Acts 15. Go ahead.
But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised.
So Titus didn't want to be circumcised. Why?
And that because of false brethren unawares.
And that because of false brethren unawares
brought in, who came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage.
The bondage was the old covenant. They wanted to bring us back to that. So it says the confusion was so much, Titus didn't want to get circumcised because he started listening to these clowns. Okay, so Titus was like, you know what? I'm not even getting circumcised. To hell with all this. I'm confused over here. I'm confused here. So Titus got caught in the midst of all the arguing. Everybody with me so far? Go ahead.
Verse 5. To whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour.
Paul said, I didn't listen to these clowns not for 1 hour. See, some of y'all be listening to these idiots for 2 hours, 3 hours. Paul said, I didn't listen to him for an hour. He might have given him 5 minutes and that's it. Your time is up. That's how you got to be in this truth. You hear somebody coming with a different doctrine, you got to shut them down. When you start giving the ear to them, that's when you get confused. Like we get this call from the stupid sister who's been with us 4 years. I want you to explain the sunrise Sabbath. I ain't explaining nothing, idiot. You've been with us 4 years. You listen to an idiot do a 3-hour video, and now you're confused. You are an idiot, sister. Goodbye. Click. Hang up the phone on him. For 4 years, you have sat amongst us learning and didn't learn nothing. You're an idiot. Y'all brothers, stop wasting your time with these women like this. Stop wasting your time. They'd be the first one. Anyway, go ahead. I'm about to go on a tangent on them now. I know they didn't do nothing to us. I'm sorry. Not y'all. I ain't talking about you sisters. Go back. Where we at?
Verse 5. To whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's person, for they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me.
So he said, there's these dudes that's with the apostles who's making it seem like they have some importance. He said, these dudes ain't nobody. They ain't nothing. He said, they might think they're somebody, but they not nobody. This is heavy what Paul is saying right there. You're trying to set yourself up like you're somebody, but you ain't nobody. Go ahead.
But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter. For he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles.
Go ahead.
And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars,
leaders,
perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision.
Now people see that word heathen and get confused. Oh, the heathen. Give me that in Ezekiel about the heathen. Ezekiel 20 verse 32. See, the word heathen means non-Israelite. Okay.
Ezekiel 25 and verse 8. Thus saith the Lord God, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, The house of Judah is like unto all the heathen.
Go back. Now go to Ezekiel 20, verse 32. I thought I asked for Ezekiel 20, verse 32. Yeah.
Ezekiel 20, verse 32.
Thank you, Officer Leon. We appreciate you.
Sorry. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
See how we wanted to be? The Israelites wanted to assimilate and become like all the other nations. Just like today, it's nothing different. We want to be like America. We want to be like the American white man and white woman. We want to look like them, act like them, celebrate like them. We want to be everything like them. That's what Ezekiel 20 is saying. And Cole said that we want to be like the heathen. Let's go back. Back to Galatians 5 now. Back to Galatians 5. Verse 7 again, please.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 7. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth?
So you understand what's happening. In the book of Acts, chapter 15, there was much confusion in the Israelite churches because you had a sect of Pharisees that rose up saying you have to be circumcised and keep the law of Moses for salvation. They were literally trying to move Christ out the way like he didn't exist. Trying to bring everybody back to Moses. Go ahead.
This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you.
Who called us? The Lord. Christ called us. He says, this persuasion cometh not of him that called. Christ didn't go around and teach that salvation comes through animal sacrifice. Go ahead. Christ said, he that cometh unto me. How does it go? Somebody help me. Y'all know my memory. He that cometh unto me. How does it go? He that cometh unto me shall be saved. Something like that. Nobody know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, read on.
Galatians 5, verse 9. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
Now, what does he mean in this context? A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. A little what? A little sin. A little sin. Leaveneth the whole lump. And leaven makes bread do what? Rise. So you got a little leaven. I'll give you an example. At one of the old schools, a brother came in and said, I don't think we have to wear fringes anymore because Hebrews chapter 8 says the law is in our heart. So there was a bunch of us there, and I said the law is not in our heart yet. Bear with me. Give me that. Go back to Hebrews with that. Go back. Just in case y'all an idiot runs up with y'all on this thing. Where's that at?
Hebrews 8 and 10.
Right.
Hebrews chapter 8, verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
So this idiot, guess what kingdom he was from? Northern Kingdom. He said, we don't got to keep the commandments based upon this. So go to Isaiah 54:13, please. Isaiah 54 and verse 13.
Isaiah 54, verse 13.
We're going to read 13 and 14, yes.
Isaiah 54, 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear from terror, for it shall not come near thee.
So is that talking about now or in the kingdom when terror is going to be far from us? In the kingdom. Right. So verse 3, and all thy children shall be taught of the Lord. That goes back, watch, Ezekiel 20. Being taught of the Lord. Ezekiel 20 and verse 35.
Ezekiel 20, verse 35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
See that? That's when we shall all be taught of the Lord. That's when we shall all be taught of the Lord. Everybody with me so far? So I pray none of you jump up talking about you got the law in your heart. You got to go. We need a trap door up in here. With all kind of fornicating going on, video sex going on. The hell? You got the law in your heart. So a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So when I heard the brother say that, I said to the brothers around, I said, this is more. I said, you might think that it's because he said, let's listen to his argument next Sabbath. And I said to the brothers, and I was the youngest one. I said, mistake. I wouldn't listen to it if I was y'all. They said, why? I said, well, the scripture says, Paul said, I didn't entertain him, no, not for how long? Not for an hour. I said, y'all want to give this dude license to spread this doctrine? I said, I don't agree. I said, because the fringes don't represent one law. The wearing of the fringes represents all the law. I said, so if he says you don't got to keep this one, there's going to be more behind it. You reading too much into it. You're reading too much into it. So, all right, leave it alone. Next week, they allowed this fool. He was a fool. To go through the doctrine, half the congregation got confused. We ain't got to keep the commandments. The week after that, he comes in with a plate on the Sabbath, a plate of hot food. Pork, by the way. He says, yes, we don't have to obey the laws of the Sabbath anymore. I said, I told you. I said, I told you. But the whole school fell apart. The entire school fell apart. That's when I hear stuff, throw that nigga out. I ain't entertaining y'all. So if you got a doctrine in your mind, you better don't bring it up around me. I'm telling you what I'm going to say. Get the F out. And I'm not going to say F either. Back to Galatians. Back to Galatians chapter 5.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 9. A little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump.
So you let a little sin in, it's going to rise and take over everything. That's what's going to happen. Go ahead. Not might, it will. Go ahead.
I have confidence in you through the Lord, that you will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be.
Wow, now that's a heavy statement. It says, but he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. Now we will read this right now, and I've given you the historic background on it. But don't forget Romans 15:4. Let's read it again. Read Romans 15:4.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Read it again.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? It says the things that was written aforetime was written for our learning. So when we go back to Galatians 5 again, read verse 10 again.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 10. I have confidence in you through the Lord, that you will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment.
Now let's relate that to today. He that troubleth you shall bear his judgment. You got to think about the men and the people that followed them, who brought in strange doctrines and managed to pull disciples out after them. So it was true back then. It's true today. It says, I'm going to read that bottom part again. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. So that goes for brothers pushing a sunrise doctrine, chicken on the Passover doctrine. You can smoke weed doctrine. What else new doctrine? Esau's a Saudi Arabian doctrine. He gonna bear the judgment, and all them little stupid spirits that follow him, they will get judged by the Lord. Everybody with me so far? Okay, well, all righty then. Now, and then you got the next idiot group that they say we don't agree with the doctrine, but they never went against them. You understand what I'm saying? There's what's that expression that about silence? Silence is consent. You ever heard that before? It's said a certain way. I remember I heard King say it. Martin Luther King said it. I just can't remember how it goes at this moment. But somebody's saying evil. You hear him, but you remain silent. That means you're in agreement, 100% agreement. And that's your Uzaliahs out there, your Weaseleels out there, all them clowns. Okay, they are enablers.
That's why in Galatians 2, when Paul said, where is it at? 2 and 6, 5, where it says, well, these who seem to be somewhat.
That's verse 6.
Verse 6.
Galatians 2, verse 6. But of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's person.
Right.
For they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me.
No, go to verse 2.
Verse 2. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preached among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation.
Trying to find poems, right? Part where he says, not for an hour.
Oh, verse 5.
Verse 5, thank you. Yep.
To whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour.
Watch this part.
That the truth of the gospel might continue with you.
So if Paul did give place, would it continue with them? Nope. No. That's why Paul didn't entertain. He said, if I give place to them, if I do listen to them, then it'll cause confusion. People, they won't have no faith. They'll lose the truth. That's why it says in the bottom, it says that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. Because if I did give place to them, it won't continue with them. It'll cause confusion. So Paul didn't entertain nonsense. But what did I do? I can do what I want. I'm a grown man. I'm going to go on Facebook. Watch what I want to watch. We already tell y'all. Be mindful of Facebook. Be mindful of social media. Don't watch this. Block them. Get rid of them. Oh, you're trying to control us. Tell us what to do. Okay, no problem. You end up in a damn freaking bird box also. Be a bird box then. That's what happens.
Exactly. I just posted something that was sent to me. Post by King. Thank you, brothers, that sending me the messages. Sisters, too. Y'all on point. Y'all on point. You got it? Watch this. Here it come. Here it come. Read that or blow it up so Officer Liam can read that. It's at the bottom. Right there.
There comes a time when silence is betrayal.
There comes a time when silence is betrayal. I tell a lot of you IUIC captains that. You got some captains, and you know who you are, you captains, because I spoke to you. All this evil going on, and you're like, mum's the word. I'm a mouse in the corner. You are a traitor in waiting. I'm going to say it again, and don't think I don't see you. All you quiet captains that when evil come out, you run to the corner, you're not a leader. I'm telling you straight. You are not a leader, and my eye is on you. I know who you is, and you know who you is too. That's right, I said is. I speak how I want to speak. Read that again.
There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. At the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends.
See that? The silence of our friends. Wow. Read the next part.
Only in the darkness can you see the stars.
Now that's heavy. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. That's what the Lord said in the midst of affliction. How does it go in Sirach 2? In the midst give me that, affliction.
Yes, sir.
Sirach 2 and 5. So here, only in the darkness can you see the stars. When there's evil and turmoil, the stars will shine. You're going to see the men of God, the women of God. They're going to shine. They're going to be there. Read the Sirach 2 and, is it 5?
Yes, sir. Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
Acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So when adversity comes, evil comes, the acceptable men and women, you're going to see them shine like the stars. Darkness comes, you're going to see the men and women shine like stars. But you silent ones, you are complicit to evil. You are our enemies. You're an enemy to God, Christ, the angels, and the nation of Israel. Fact. Everybody understand that?
Perfect. Like this afternoon, I has seen it. Because a lot of time when you see heresy, you see all time, it's to prove those elect. They're going to come out in their perfection. You understand? But a lot of time when you see people just bent out of shape, yo, can you explain that to me? But you notice that way before that, they never tell you to explain anything. But now they know that they're caught up in the virus and the flood that are there. Then they say, can you explain that to me then? Can you explain that? No, brother, you caught up in the he said, she said. That's why like a lot of times your brothers need to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. Prophecy is being unfolded. We read the scripture, then you see it right into your face. Whatever Paul says is manifested. Then you tell me you have a quat because you lack of faith. You don't have that faith.
Right. Give Sirach 41:16 real quick regarding being that's fear. That's what it is. It's fear. Silence. I'm scared. I don't want to say nothing. It's fear.
Sirach chapter 41, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, be ashamed. Therefore, be shamefaced according to my word.
So the Lord is saying, be shamefaced according to my word, not according to your feelings, according to my word. Watch this.
For it is not good to retain all shamefacedness.
It is not good to retain all shamefaced, meaning shyness, quiet, just quiet, humble, real quiet. I'm gonna stay quiet, mind my business. It's not good to remain shamefaced. Go ahead, read again. It is not good to what? To retain.
For it is not good to retain all shamefacedness.
All shamefacedness. The time when you cannot be shamefaced. Go ahead.
Neither is it altogether approved in everything.
It's not always the right time to be that way. Sometimes you gotta speak up. It's not proving everything.
Yeah,
That's what Judith did.
Right, Charles, don't say that. Judith,
Remember when
right.
the Israelite leaders was going to give up the whole nation to the freaking who?
Babylonians.
Yes. Was it Babylon?
Babylonians.
Okay. And then Judith went and said, "Hey, that thing y'all said is not right with God."
Right.
She had to correct him. She said, "I can't. I'm a shamefaced woman, but I got to say something because all the men is going to hell off." That's when it's time not to be shamefaced.
And a child named Daniel, when they were going to judge Susanna, a child said, "Nah, I'm clean to this blood. This is evil as hell. What you're doing." You know, a young youth said no and cursed out. You guys are foolish as hell. Took the elders out. Y'all foolish for killing this woman.
Yeah, you notice that even though when brother not speaking and saying anything, Bishop, because they have something inside, then they will make us understand that, hey, every time I say something, brother will kick me out. But no. A righteous man will never think like that. You understand? A foolish man would think like that. If I say anything, they're going to kick me out. Since when the scripture says you say anything, they kick you out? Because that's how they justify themselves to hold that wicked that is inside. If I say anything, they're gonna put me in the front side. That's evil, brother. That's the evil of thinking.
So let's go back to Galatians, the 5th chapter. That was very good. Whew, took a lot out of me. That's some good stuff. There'll be more at the men's conference. And you captains, y'all better get ready. Because I'm calling y'all on the spot. Y'all gonna be called on the carpet. See, I don't know about men's conference. I don't worry. There's gonna be no little chair for you, bro. You're gonna be okay. The little chair. Remember? Oh, you weren't there? Were you there for the little chair? What I done? How many of y'all saw the little chair? What I done? Oh, that was. You see there? It's all right, Deke. It's okay. He's trying to forget. He's prayed and fasted. Okay, where are we at? Obviously,
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 11.
We in verse 11?
Yes, sir. And I,
wait. Verse 10 again.
I have confidence in you through the Lord, that you will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. Mm-hmm. And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution? Then it is the offense of the cross ceased. I would they were even cut off which trouble you.
Now, read verse 11 again.
And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution?
He said, if I went around preaching circumcision, the old covenant, why am I being persecuted? Okay. Why do I yet suffer persecution? Go ahead.
Then is the offense of the cross ceased.
Right. Now watch this. Go to Galatians 6, verse 12. Watch this. This is the flip side.
Galatians chapter 6, verse 12. As many as desire to make a fair show in the flesh, they constrain you to be circumcised, only lest they should suffer persecution for the cross of Christ.
They said it's better to preach circumcision than Christ, because if we preach Christ, we're going to be persecuted. Understand, when you preach the true gospel, you will be persecuted. I want all you men and women to understand that there's no escape out of this thing. Find me the scripture about put one brother on the left hand, Lord, and put the mother that came to Christ. She said, put one of my sons on your left hand and put one on the right. Find me that. It just popped in my mind. I'm going to show y'all persecution. There's going to be persecution. We're not getting the kingdom off for free. Where are we going? Matthew 20:21. All right, watch this.
Matthew chapter 20, verse 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with
So
her
now the
sons.
mothers were very important. They were around Christ all the time. You had many women that followed Christ. Sometimes brothers think it was only men. No, there was women there too. Go ahead.
Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my 2 sons may sit, the one on thy right hand, and the other on the left in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able.
So the drink and the baptism was mockery, death, humiliation. Y'all understand that? That's what comes by being a follower of Christ. Remember he said in Matthew 24, you shall be hated of what? All nations for my name's sake. You're not going to be a true disciple of Christ and be loved by the world. Impossible. Because the gospel is about our people resurrecting and ruling the earth. You think the Chinese going to go, hey, I love these black people. They said niggas so great. You're going to, it's not going to happen. They're going to, what are they teaching? That they're the people of the Lord and they're going to rule us? They're going to hate your guts. That's why you see many Israelites, they look for a group that waters down the gospel. No, we're not going to rule. We're all going to be equals in the kingdom. And the brothers go, okay, we can roll with that group because they're safe. They're not getting the kingdom. Christ said, you must drink the drink that I drink and be baptized with my baptism. Read.
And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father.
Right. What happens is, I thought they was saying, they go into what's called, I call it safe mode. Safe mode is when you start saying things like, Arzareth is not America. America is not Babylon. We're not really in captivity. We have jobs. We can travel the world. So it's not really, there's different levels of captivity, different levels of captivity. It's different, like it's captive and then it's captive. No, nigga, you in slavery, period. Sorry, I'm using my language. But that's the safe mode. Reprobate mode goes into safe mode. Then make sure you know what? Ours is not America. America's not Babylon. We all Israel, spiritually. You're Israel, I'm Israel, keep the faith in Christ. We're all Israel. We're all God's people. Right. Let's give it time. Give it time.
Exactly. Let's go back to Galatians chapter 5. I want verse 10 again because I do want to bring something up.
I have confidence in you through the Lord, that you will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be.
You're going to bear your judgment. You trouble his gospel. You trouble the men and women following the Lord. You're going to bear your judgment. Watch this. Let's see what kind of judgment you're going to get. Give me Galatians 1, 7 and 8.
Galatians
you
chapter 1.
You want to throw videos up and humiliate and embarrass brothers and sisters? You're going to bear your judgment. And your goal is, it ain't the man or the woman you show in the video. It's to put blame on the ministry, to destroy the ministry. That's your goal. That's your aim. Don't think we don't see you, EZEKIEL. Don't think God don't see you. He sees your tactics. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Read.
Galatians chapter 1, verse 7. Which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ.
See what that troubling deals with? Perverting the gospel of Christ. That's what it deals with. Watch this.
But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you.
You come with any other teaching? Go ahead.
Than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Let him be what?
Accursed.
Let him be what?
Let him be accursed.
So when we say it, don't think it's a personal thing. When we say you are accursed, it's biblical. Everybody see that? It is strictly biblical. So when we say you men and women that left out of here teaching a strange doctrine are accursed, it's because the Bible says so. Read.
As we said before, so say I now again.
He said, I'm going to repeat it in case some of you are slow of mind. Go ahead.
If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed.
He said it 2 times. He said, damn it, I got to say it again in this letter. Because people be in denial. And denial is not a river in Africa. They go, no, I'm in denial. I'm in denial. Let's go back to, from there, give me 1 Ezra 5. First Ezra 5, verse 72 and 73. Y'all know this one. We read this quite a bit. Right, they in denial getting baptized.
Including water too.
First Ezra chapter 5, verse 72. But the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judea, and holding them straight, hindered their buildings.
See that? They were hindering the servants of God from doing their work, building the temple, the wall at this time. Go ahead.
And by their secret plots,
There were many secret plots against the disciples, against the followers of the Lord. Go ahead.
and popular persuasions.
Popular persuasions, like when you think about it today, give me a name, name some popular persuasions today. What do people, what? Politics is a popular persuasion. Religion,
LGBT.
yeah, all those things are popular. The people, the masses of the people are followed. They are easily persuaded by these mass media. Thank you. Go ahead.
And by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions, they hindered the finishing of the building.
They hindered the finishing of the building. Go ahead.
All the time that King Cyrus lived, so they were hindered from building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius.
So they were hindered from doing the work for 2 years because of secret plots, commotions, and popular persuasions. It's no different than what Christ and the disciples went through. No difference at all. Guess what? I'm saying all that. I'm leading us somewhere. It's no difference than us today. Give me the video. The day shall come. Now, there was a, I had to laugh at this video when I saw it. I did laugh because remember years ago, they were going to do a movie called, don't play it yet, called Asher, where it was about a Northern Kingdom brother who comes among him and he's plotting to overthrow with guns. I said, don't play it. Okay. I was about to get you over there. All right. It's the computer's fault. No one's about to say. Oh, anyway, they got so much heat back because they're going to have Danny Glover in the movie and Mekhi Phifer. They didn't do it. So they came out with this one. Now, wait a minute. Go out of that. Give me the Wikipedia thing. Give me the Wikipedia about this movie. The name of this movie is The Day Shall Come. Okay, this is about what the movie is about. Is it upcoming? Leon?
Yes, sir. The Day Shall Come is an upcoming 2019 British-American satirical black comedy thriller film. Written by Chris Morris and Jesse Armstrong and directed by Morris. The film stars Marchant Davis, Anna Kendrick, Daniel Brooks, and Dennis O'Hare. The film exploits the farce of the heart of the real-life FBI sting operation.
Now, they're making jokes, but there's reality and truth behind this. Jump down to locations. Captain Isaac has shared this with me. Go down to location. Production.
The film was shot in secret in the Dominican Republic from the summer of 2017 into 2018. Additional photography took place in March 2018.
Why you got to film in secret? It's a comedy. What's the secret about? Because the movie is trying to humiliate the Israelites. Now go to the clip. Go to the video. Blow it up. Now, wait, before you play it. Now, there's a lot of Israelite camps. Now, you may think, oh, this is ISUPK. It looks like them to me. But when you think at it spiritually, when Esau don't attack just one group, you got to think of it. Esau, when he come for one, he comes for all. So the joke is really against all Israelites. Okay, watch. Oh, wait. In case you don't, no, I'll say it after.
Prepare ye, for the day that approaches is the day of the great revolution. Are you ready to rule?
We are ready to rule.
May you live to see the accidental dominance of the white race overthrown.
Cool.
You're gonna pitch me the next 9/11.
What about this guy Moses Shabazz?
Classic lone wolf.
There's 4 of them, actually.
Duck walk.
Back a lone wolf. How'd that happen?
My mission is to change the lives of poor people without the gun weapon.
Let's offer this Moses Shabazz some funds.
He could set up a meeting with a rich ISIL sheikh.
Perhaps your army needs weapons? No.
We don't believe in guns. If necessary, we'll call on the dinosaurs. At the sound of a trumpet, they will come to our aid.
I think he's delusional.
Yeah, schizophrenia plays.
You being played, Mo.
What if I'm playing them? Whoever it is playing me.
Could you pay someone to inform upon themselves?
You want to inform on yourself?
Would you be interested?
He's got the threat signature of a hot dog.
Peace, brothers!
Jihad has no off switch. Next thing you know, the Statue of Liberty's wearing a burqa, and we've beheaded Bruce Springsteen.
Just get him back out there to blow up a skyscraper, or I'll drop the case.
Okay, so we have to get him a fake nuke.
I'll take a better idea if you got one. How about not selling nukes to Nazis? You mean to put hair on your chest and make it fall off.
I am just a guy talking to another guy, trying to send a third guy to jail. I'm calling it a full arm response.
Shit, a pineapple. He's unarmed!
Unarmed black man, unarmed white man. Which one's more likely to have the gun?
I'm gonna be sick. It's just the horn they used to summon the dinosaurs.
You think this gonna work out?
No.
Well, alrighty then. So wait a minute. I see. The horn to summon the dinosaurs is supposed to be the ram's horn. Y'all know that, right? You know how you be. Play it again. I just want to show y'all something. Go play from the beginning. I want that ready to rule thing. You brothers better do it right. Don't mess me up. Put the camera on the brothers.
Prepare ye, for the day that approaches is the day of the great revolution. Are you ready to rule?
We are ready to rule.
Stop. Brothers, are you ready to rule? Yes, sir. Oh, praise. That's what I'm talking about right there. You got 3 people. We are ready to rule. Man, I couldn't stop laughing. I saw this thing. With a little kid. Man, shoot. Wow. So, watch this. Give me Psalms 22 and verse 7. We are ready to rule. But now, although it's a joke, they're making mockery of Israelites. Don't think, because remember, there was some time ago where they got 3 brothers they were Trinidadian, and I believe they worked in LaGuardia, one of the airports. And the FBI was talking with them, trying to convince them that they should buy weapons. And it was an undercover FBI guy. And they had agreed, although they never bought weapons or any type of thing, they got arrested. Be mindful of people coming to y'all like that on the side. I understand what I'm saying. They're trying to sell like the nukes, like they were saying in the video, in the movie. It's fake, but they'll use that to say, oh, you are potentially a terrorist. I remember somebody started sending me emails about purchasing all manner of types of weapons. I said, delete, blocks. What the hell is this? I already saw it a mile away. That's what they do. And sometimes, brothers, they will send a woman to you. So if you're weak-minded, brothers, be mindful. And she ain't going to be busted either when they send it to you. Where we at?
Psalms 22 and verse 7.
Come on.
All they that see me laugh me to scorn.
All they that see me laugh me to scorn. Was that it?
They shoot out the lip. They shake the head, saying.
So now, was that the whole verse, Leo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I want you to see is that what they do to the servants of the Lord is laugh at us, mock at us. That's what they're doing here in this upcoming movie. Watch this. Get Matthew 27, verse 29, because it is the precept for Psalms 22, verse 7. Matthew 27, verse 29. Watch what Christ says.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 29. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying,
And what?
And mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews.
So our enemies mocked Christ. That's what they did. Get Mark 15:20. And that's what Psalms 22 is going into, the mockery of the Lord, which goes into. So Christ said, if they did it to me, they're going to do it to you too. Everybody with me so far?
Mark 15 and verse 20. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple from him and put his own clothes on him and led him out to crucify him.
And that's why we have the purple on. They mocked Christ with purple. Okay, so don't think it's on a whim, let's just wear purple. No, because they mocked our king with it. So now we're going to teach the gospel and tear down this kingdom with the word of the Lord. Everybody with me? All praises. So from there, give me Sirach 27, verse 28. Sirach 27, verse 20. And when I say tear down the kingdom, I hope y'all understand with the word of God. You men understand that?
Yes, sir.
In case there's some, yeah, they're going to edit that and go, sir, look what he said. Yeah, exactly. Where we going? Sirach 27, 28.
Sirach 27 and verse 28. Mockery and reproach are from...
You're in Sirach?
Yes, sir. Sirach 27 and verse 28.
27 and verse 28. Go ahead.
Mockery and reproach are from the proud.
Mockery and reproach are from the proud.
But vengeance, as a lion, shall lie in wait for them.
So understand that. And that's what another scripture says. God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. Give me Jude 1 verse 18. Jude verse 18. So they're going to mock us. Okay. We are ready to rule.
Jude.
What they calling the dinosaurs? Remember there was a dude on YouTube that said he could pray to UFOs to come? Anybody remember that? He would go out there and go, ah, la, 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 and a UFO would come out of the sky. They go, see? Anyway, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Jude 18. How that they told you there should be mockers in the last time.
When?
In the last time.
So if they mocked our Lord, don't think they're not going to mock us. They're going to mock us. And that's what we're seeing now. The mockery. Was that it?
Who should walk after their own ungodly lust.
Mm-hmm. Get Galatians 6 verse 7. Why are they mocking me is going to happen.
Galatians chapter 6 verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Right, because people think they're mocking us. You're really mocking the Lord. Because we're coming with the words of the Lord. Oh, everybody with me so far? Okay, all right. Give me the article on the FBI. Leaked FBI. All right, can we blow that up bigger? We don't need nothing on the side. We don't need none of that stuff on the sides. Okay. There we go. Officer Leon?
Yes, sir. Leaked FBI documents reveal bureau priorities under Trump by Ken Klippenstein.
When was this published?
August 8th, 2019.
Okay. Go ahead.
I got it. Under President Trump, the FBI's official counterterrorism priorities have included black identity extremists, anti-authority extremists, and animal rights environmental extremists.
Now, this black identity extremist. Let's go back to what Representative Bass said about that. There's a video on Representative Bass is her name. BASS is a video I sent to you right there. She discussed with Jeff Sessions about black extremism, about black identity extremism. Blow it up. We're going to watch this video.
Chair recognizes the gentlewoman from California, Ms. Bass, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Between 1956 and 1971, the FBI ran a counterintelligence program named COINTELPRO that was initiated by J. Edgar Hoover. COINTELPRO mainly targeted civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King, and it's commonly understood that this was an abuse of its surveillance power in a manner to suppress a peaceful movement.
Right.
So I would like to ask Mr. Chair unanimous consent to enter this report into the record, which is black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. I believe earlier you said you were...
So they're saying that black people will attack law enforcement officers. That's what this whole thing crap is supposedly going into. Go ahead.
You're not familiar with the report, is that correct?
Well, I haven't read it. I know some of the alleged targeting.
Stop, and they always lie. These people, sit there and watch some of these things, they always, I'm not familiar with it, I'm not sure, I've never read it. They're lying. Go ahead.
officers by
Okay, so I would like to know, and I'll ask you about that in a minute. So you are somewhat familiar with it. Who had the power in your department to order a report like this?
I'm not sure how that report got ordered. I don't believe I explicitly approved it or directed it.
Okay, so you haven't necessarily read the report, but you are familiar with the term Black identity extremists?
Well, I think so, yes.
So can you tell me what that term means to you? Do you believe that there is a movement of African Americans that identify themselves as Black identity extremists, and what does that movement do?
Well, I'd be interesting to see the conclusions of that report, but I'm aware that there are groups that do have an extraordinary commitment to their racial identity, and some have transformed themselves even into violent activists.
Are you aware of white organizations that do this as well? Given that white supremacy is well-documented, well-researched movements such as the neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, etc., are they white identity extremists?
I didn't follow that question.
See that? See how these devils are?
Is there a term or a report on white identity extremists? You mentioned you were familiar with Black people who identify with their racial identity.
Yes, but it's not coming to me at this moment.
Damn demons.
Not coming to you?
It's
certainly a group such as the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, and then the skinhead movements, but there's a racial identity white movements that have been identified for sure.
So has the FBI done a report on white identity extremists that are likely motivated to target law enforcement officers? Is there such
I'm not aware of that.
Okay,
answer's no.
Are you aware of a group called the Sovereign Citizens?
I've heard that group, yes.
And I believe that the Sovereign Citizens is primarily a white organization that absolutely has targeted police officers and killed police officers. Right. You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of all their crimes, but I know they're a group that's known to have violent tendencies.
Could you name an African-American organization that have committed violent acts against police officers? Could you name one today? In this report, they name organizations from 30, 40 years ago, but can you name of one today that has targeted police officers in a violent manner?
I believe I could, but I would want to be to confirm that and submit it to you in writing. But I believe we had within the last year or so 4 police officers killed by a group that some have described as extremists.
So what has happened is that there have been a couple of incidents in which African Americans did kill police officers who were not associated with a Black organization.
Correct.
And so one, for example, in Baton Rouge was associated with Sovereign Citizens, which is primarily a white group. So you should know that there's a lot of concern in the community, especially from organizations such as Black Lives Matter. By the way, would you consider Black Lives Matter a Black identity extremist group?
I'm not able to comment on that. I have not so declared it.
So you should know that a lot of activists around the country are very concerned that we're getting ready to repeat a very sad chapter of our history, where people who are rightfully protesting what they consider to be an injustice in their community, which is their relationship with police officers, are now being targeted and labeled as extremists and are going through periods of surveillance and harassment. And so I would like to know, what is your department going to do to protect the rights of average citizens to protest if they have a concern about police officers?
This department will not unlawfully target people.
Right.
So if that's the case, then I would ask that you review this report, Black Identity Extremists Likely Motivated to Target Law Enforcement Officers, because I personally don't believe that any such organizations exist. The organizations that are referred to in this report are organizations from decades ago. And so I would like to know, what will you do to essentially roll back what is listed in this report? Because it's not accurate.
She told him, look at him.
Sir?
We will look at the report. I actually would be interested in reading it. But they usually do an excellent job, objective and fair, on those kind of reports.
Okay, well, just...
Time of the gentlewoman has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman.
He was glad she got off. So her name is Karen Bass. She's a representative in California. So let's go back to the article now. Go back to the article. Now, let's read this again, because we stopped at black identity extremists. So I wanted to fill in the gap on what she said. So as a result of her interrogating or interviewing Jeff Sessions, they made a few changes in the report. So I'll explain. Go ahead.
Under President Trump, the FBI's official counterterrorism priorities have included black identity extremists, anti-authority extremists, and animal rights environmental extremists, according to the leaked Bureau documents obtained exclusively by the Young Turks. The documents, many of which are marked law enforcement sensitive and for official use only, also reference a mysterious plan to mitigate the threat of black identity extremists with a program codenamed Iron Fist, involving the use of undercover agents.
So what they did, they just altered the names in it, and they put this new term Iron Fist, which uses undercover agents. Now, you may ask, what does that have to do with back then as related to now? It has everything to do with it. Go back to Acts. I'm showing you Acts 15 and 5. In case you forgot, I'm going to go to the past and I'm bringing it on up to today.
Acts 15 and 5. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
Now watch this. Precept with it, Galatians 2 and 4. Talking about undercover agents now. Go ahead.
And that because of false brethren unawares brought in.
What are these people called today? Undercover agents. That's what it's talking about. False brethren unawares brought in. Brought in by who? You had the scribes, the Pharisees send people in at the behest of Rome. Go ahead.
Who came in privily to spy out our liberty.
Observe them. Record them. Go ahead.
Which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage.
Watch this. Luke 20, verse 20. They did the same thing with Christ. So I just want y'all to see, is nothing happening today that did not happen to the foreparents in the past.
Luke 20, verse 20. And they watched him and sent forth spies.
Sent forth what?
Sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men.
Feign means faked. They faked themselves as just men,
that they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor.
How would they take hold of his words? Record him. Record him. Trying to get him caught up, trapped in his words. There's nothing different that happened back then that's happening now. A lot of these people that was with us, now I won't say a lot, some of them that was with us, yes, they were undercover agents or informants. I'll use that word. Confidential informants. Let's go back. I just had to put that little pause so it can marinate on some of your brains out there.
Yeah, just like when you're looking at this whole movement, at least Malcolm X, when Malcolm X came in the picture, at least Bishop, some black brothers noticed what the brother was doing. They come to him and say, you know that we are informing. That's right. Us against. These niggas today, excuse my language, these niggas today, they are pure demon. They are laughing in your face. Mm-hmm. They see that you're trying to change the mind of your people. Exactly. You understand? That will report you to the government. These niggas are here, man. Excuse my language again. They're like wicked brothers, man.
Hey, they're going to get their judgment. They're going to get their judgment.
Bishop, you remember that time I interrupted the class to show the phone? I made a big deal of brothers who was with us that left, but they still stood on our social media. They were snapshotting Captain Isaac's bank statement, personal conversation. That's spy stuff. Real men of God don't do stuff like that. This is stuff that I'm seeing for the first time ever in my life.
Recording conversations. For years.
Keeping stuff for years. Keeping records. Keeping texts. That's not normal behavior of a brother that's in the truth that's trying to serve God. Okay? You leave. You announce that you left. But now you're holding on to stuff later on to use to try and bring down somebody later on.
Asaph, in the world, people don't do stuff
People don't do stuff like, think about it. Who do you see in the world do stuff like that? That's not normal behavior. Y'all got to stop and y'all got to think like the bishop said. That's why I said before, a lot of you are going to get condemned because of your silence. Because you'll sit back and you'll see it and you'll just stay quiet. And you won't say nothing. You'll act like you don't see it. And you'll watch what they're doing and you're not outraged. You're not shocked or nothing. You just sit back quiet.
Right. And you notice the ones that complain that they were done, that they were wrongfully done, well, we did them wrong. They'll come with madness. We stay straight in the scriptures. There's no strain. There's no left or right. They go into madness. America's not Babylon. Yeah. Esau ain't the white man anymore. Yeah. That's madness. So based upon the madness, their actions justify being put out in the first place. But not against us, against themselves.
Deacon Nathan, when I think I just came back, work, I just laying down listening to the thing. The thing was this first verse, Bishop, was Leviticus 5:1, brother. You understand? That's what the brother quote. Leviticus said, but that's the spirit. I didn't listen to that thing no more, man. I just went to sleep. Because to show you, man, that was not the case in the first place. But then my challenge to the brother is, did he ever come to the deacons and play that tape and say, this is what I have? See what our judgment was. He never did that. But he went to the media, played though. To show you that was never about building the congregation in the first place. That was to destroy it, like Bishop said. Bring it to the ground. Brother, listen. IUIC was not built by no man. This is, man, one thing you'll have to understand. If you're a failure of the gospel, IUIC gonna reveal you a failure. You was never ended in the first place.
IUIC exists. That proves their failure.
You're a failure. You're a loser. You're a garbage. That's what you was. You're a garbage now. You're a garbage then. Straight up.
This is the hammer. Clap your hands for yourself. Clap your hands for yourself.
Clap your hands for yourself.
and like he just said, the smart thing to do is not take it and bring it to YouTube. Come to us and prove that we are who we say we are. Okay? Because what did Christ say? If you catch somebody in something, go to them one-on-one. Exactly. If they don't hear you, get 2 or 3 witnesses. Right. If they don't want to hear the 2 or 3 witnesses, do what? Bring it before them. Why he skipped that step?
Exactly.
Why he didn't say, you know what? These niggas are wicked and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to bring it before the church. Why run to YouTube? COINTELPRO told you just go straight to YouTube with what you got.
There you go.
Go straight to the public with it.
Exactly.
Okay? Think.
Hey, Asaph. Now I'm gonna tell you the little. I'm gonna call him what he is, a little spick. He did mention it to me, and I said to him, I said, well, according to Matthew 18, if you got something against a brother, you go to him one-on-one. So the brother he had an issue with, y'all all know who I'm referring to, the brother, the real brother. I ain't talking about the spick. The real brother. Say to the brother, hey, this brother has issues with you. You need to speak to him. So he spoke to the brother, and I said, like the next week, so what happened? Everything's good. So I call a witness. I said, did they make peace? Made peace. Come December, it's on YouTube. I'm like, what the hell? This is some evil SH. I said, you can't make this stuff up. This is wicked as hell. So let's get back to the article now. Where are we at now? Second paragraph?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Each fiscal year, the FBI headquarters updates its consolidated strategy guide, which lists the Bureau's priorities in numerous domains such as counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and cybercrime. When an August 2017 internal FBI report referencing the counterterrorism threat posed by black identity extremists was published by Foreign Policy, the FBI became the subject of intense criticism for adopting what critics alleged was a racially loaded term.
That's what we saw with Representative Karen Bass. Go ahead.
What was not publicly known, however, was not only had the FBI adopted the term, it specifically listed it as a top counterterrorism priority in its 2018 strategy guide, referring to the group as a priority domestic terrorism target.
Right, not white nationalists as priority, but black people. Go ahead.
No guns.
No guns.
And even established a program to counteract the supposed threat. While the documents depict concerns about violent black extremist attacks, they do not cite a single specific attack.
There's never been an attack by any group upon law enforcement, ever. Go ahead. Not in recent decades.
Unlike white supremacist attacks,
right,
of which several prominent examples are provided. Furthermore, although the FBI last month reportedly assured Senate Democrats that it had dropped the term in black identity extremists in favor of one.
So the FBI said we dropped that term. Go ahead.
That isn't race specific. The document suggests that this was misleading. Despite changing the name, the Bureau retained much of the original definition and still targeted black people.
So they went from black identity extremists to Iron Fist. It's the same spiel or the same spiel. Go ahead.
So grave did the Bureau consider the threat of black extremists that from 2019 to 2020, using new designations, enlisted the threat at the very top of its counterterrorism priorities above even terror groups like Al-Qaeda.
You see that crap? Y'all see that? They said black people are more of a threat than Al-Qaeda. That's some evil stuff right there. Okay. Now watch this. I gotta show you. Go ahead, Lava.
Yeah, you notice that's the same thing. The Egyptian. You remember the Egyptians when we was under him? When we was under the Egyptian, they said, you know what? If we don't deal with Israel wisely, they're gonna join against us with our own enemy. The white man know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. You see, there was a document came out where when they're talking about, when you say they're talking about black terrorists or black or whatever name they want to claim it, identified, it's talking about the Israelite. Yeah. It's not, I'm telling you, he's not talking about any type of ways. He's talking about the Israelite. They're trying to bring their identity, who they are. That's what they're against. Yeah, that's
why they call it identity. Okay. Hold up, because we're coming back to this article. We just put up the title of the next article that Captain Zakar just sent me. Thank you, Captain Zakar. All we want is the title. Now, if I say it, I said this in a video on YouTube. They took me down for hate speech. So just read the title. Just read the title. Okay, it's loading. It's loading. Just stand. Bear with us. It's loading. It's loading. You know they took down the video. 15 hours of bloodshed. Just took it down. They said, no, it's hate speech. I'm like, hate speech? Read the title, Officer Leon.
The FBI admits Black Lives Matter was never a threat. It's white people you should be worried about.
There you go. That's the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. That is the truth. They're the ones with all the mass shootings and all that. And let me tell you that new law they put up about if you shoot 2 or more people, it's going to be considered mass murder, and you're going to get the capital punishment. Guess who that's going to affect first? These dumb black boys that with the gang shootings. Let them hit 2 or 3, capital punishment. They're going to be crying for their mama. What you say? It's like that in Texas. See that? All these laws they put, they say, oh, it's for white people. No, they're going to get black people. So all you dumb nicks, you know who you are. Can I say niggas? Niggas out there going around shooting your people and you get capital punishment. Don't ask why. Now you know why. You want them to do it. Oh, you want to know, oh, look at the white people getting killed. Yeah, and now you shooting your own people. Now you're getting capital punishment. Hey, we can't help you. Let's go back now to the original article. Right here. Right here.
Black identity extremists. What's in a name? By 2019, the FBI had indeed replaced its 2018 counterterrorism priority, black identity extremists, with the vaguer designation, racially motivated extremism.
Racially motivated extremism. Wow. Good.
According to the Bureau's FY 2018 to 20 counterterrorism strategy guides obtained by TYT. In addition to the strategy guides, TYT also obtained FBI threats guidances associated with many of the counterterrorism priorities. These guidances detail the nature of the threats as well as how the Bureau plans to counteract them. Despite the new term, racially motivated extremism, a 2019 threat guidance defines the new priority as including black racially motivated extremism, a term that appears repeatedly in the document and includes much of the same definition of the 2018 black identity extremists. Racially motivated extremism generally includes white racially motivated extremism, previously referred to as white supremacy extremism, and black racially motivated extremism, previously referred as black identity extremism, the FBI document states. The FBI's new 2020 counterterrorism priorities changed the designation yet again. this time to racially motivated violent extremism. However, the new term also includes much of the same definition of the 2018 Black Identity Extremists. The 2020 threat guidance states RMVS, racially motivated violent extremists, use force or violence in violation of criminal law in response to perceived racism and injustice in American society, or in an effort to establish a separate black homeland or autonomous black social institutions, communities, or governing organizations within the United States.
Read that again.
The 2020 threat guidance states RMV, racially motivated violent extremists, use force or violence in violation of criminal law in response to perceived racism and injustice in American society, or in an effort to establish a separate black homeland or autonomous black social institutions, communities, or governing organizations within the United States.
See that? Now, this is all that's supposed to be a governing an organization within it. That's supposed to be allowed. But they're changing everything now. They don't want that. They don't want black social institutions. Right. You see that? So isn't somebody supposed to be building a black school for boys? They're going to be against that. What's his name? Johnson. Yeah, they're going to be against that too.
The guy says perceived racism, as if it's perception. It does not really exist. Perceived racism. No, it is racism. But it's perceived. They perceive it's racist. Let's look at the word.
Exactly. Go back. Read. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. The 2018 threat guidance defines black identity extremists in nearly identical fashion, saying members use force or violence in violation of criminal law in response to perceived racism and injustice in American society. Some do so in furtherance of establishing a separate black homeland or autonomous black social institutions, communities, or governing organizations. The FBI judges some RMVE perceptions of police brutality against African Americans served as justification for premeditated retaliatory violence against law enforcement in 2016, the document states. Origins of the threat. The 2018 threat guidance strongly suggests that the black identity extremist term emerged from the Black Lives Matter movement, specifically the 2014 shooting of black teen Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and its aftermath. The FBI judges BIE perceptions of police brutality against African Americans have likely motivated acts of premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement, the document states.
Right. Deacon Yalsop brought out a point. You see that part about this, where is it? About governing organizations and black social institutions and community. You see that part, communities? See the word communities? Remember Black Wall Street? That was a community. They bombed Black Wall Street. You know how they like to say, why don't you go do your own thing? The second our people said, okay, we will. We did it. And they said, drop dynamite from the planes and kill all. That's what they did. Go ahead. Where you at, Leon?
The threat. The threat guidance goes on to attribute the threat in part to violent rhetoric on social media as well as media attention generally.
The threat guidance goes on to attribute the threat in part to violent rhetoric on social media. That's what we tell everyone. Be careful what you're saying on social media. Just use it to teach the gospel. That's it. Don't be on there like the idiot from the other Israelite camp. We should kill everybody in this school. Shoot them up. Wicked as hell. This is what they're talking about, these dumb people. Remember, a dude got arrested last week on social media, running his mouth, threatening to kill somebody. He wasn't with us. Idiot. But he's Israelite. Go ahead.
The threat to law enforcement from BIE is likely to remain elevated and may continue to expand.
See that? They're going to expand it. Go ahead.
Driven in part by continued calls for violent action on social media.
Be careful, social media. Go ahead.
The document says.
Now, watch this. Let me tell you what these informant, undercover. Now, undercover agent and a confidential informant is different. A confidential informant can usually be somebody that got caught out there. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But remember, they put out, started saying, we put a hit out on the sister Joy Moore, which was a lie, a complete lie. This is what they do on social media. And some of y'all are foolish enough, maybe they put a hit out. Bruh, and the ones running their mouth never met the sister Joy Morgan.
Or us.
Never.
Or us. You gotta remember that woman that looked like Miss Cleo that started saying it was a blood sacrifice? She had the head wrap and everything running her mouth, and every minute, oh, I got new tea, and she was all animated and all live and just making up crazy stuff. Okay, and nobody wasn't calling her on it, but she was doing just what the bishop was saying, making things up, outlandish stuff, and everybody just watching it and listening to her. She never met the sister, and she never met not one of us.
Exactly. Where we at, Leon?
The FBI assesses racially charged events coupled with the widespread media attention of the events remain contributing factors to the emergence of violent lone offenders within the BIE movement, countering the threat. The document also shed light on the FBI's plans to counter the perceived threat of black extremists. Methods alluded to include undercover employees, confidential informants, and cryptically Iron Fist.
So it's really Iron Fist. Iron Fist deals with undercover employees and confidential informants. Who knows what that video is with Perry? What's his name? Darford Perry. There's a scene in there where they flip him. And he says the way they make you a confidential informant is if you get caught on a felony, a misdemeanor, or anything like that, they use that against you. Anybody know what that is? The guy's name was Darford Perry. But there was you know what? There's a clip that you posted, Jonah, from but Marcus Garvey, Boardwalk Empire. What happens? They catch you in, no matter how minuscule, they use that, since most people don't know the law, and they flip you. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. Now, I'll show you the clip first. Then remind me to say what the weasel did. Darford Perry. It's long, but I can't remember the exact minute he went into it. Yes, that's what I want. That's the one. Where J. Edgar Hoover flipped one of the friends of Marcus Garvey. It's 4 minutes, but they caught him on something, I think it was numbers. He's a pimp. Numbers. Now, this guy, believe it or not, this guy helped fund, he bought buildings for Marcus Garvey. He did a lot with the money he made from pimping and all that. He did believe in his friend Marcus Garvey, and he helped finance a lot of what he did. But Hoover caught him on something, on him being a pimp and all that. Watch what happens. Now, this is on YouTube already, so they shouldn't flag it. That's Hoover right there, J. Edgar Hoover. One of the FBI buildings is named after him. Listen good.
You entered this country through the port of New Orleans in 1898. Is that correct?
I beg your pardon.
Is that correct?
Who are you?
The one asking questions.
Damn.
1898, yes.
26 years in the United States. But you are not a citizen.
And that is grounds for detaining me. How?
Why would you go on living in a country you don't wish to belong to?
The exile does not choose his Babylon.
He said the exile does not choose his Babylon.
Compatriot, Garvey. He thinks you should all return to Africa.
That would be an oversimplification of his philosophy.
What am I missing?
I doubt that I could make you to understand.
You seem to be clever.
He says, I doubt I can make you understand. White folks always want you to explain things to them. We don't have to explain nothing to them. Y'all understand? This is our Bible written by our forefathers for our people. That's it. Why you gotta That's why that idiot, Mark Reiser, goes around reading, explain it to me. Explain. I didn't get to explain nothing to you. You're a joke. Your time is almost up. The clock is ticking, devil. Where we at? Go ahead. You're clever.
Who do you think gets to decide what the truth is?
Truth is what those in power wish it to be.
During the course of investigating, the seditious activities of Marcus Garvey, James M. Tolliver, special agent with the Bureau of Investigation, was murdered
Now,
in
notice
Atlantic
what he
City,
said.
New Jersey.
Pause. He said Marcus Garvey was doing seditious activity. Marcus Garvey was organizing black people to go back to the continent. What was seditious about that? They don't want the slaves to leave. Y'all understand that? Stay here and build Babylon the Great. Build America. That's what they were doing. Right, the crime that Barabbas had committed. Go ahead.
By an unidentified colored male. Dr. Valentine Narcisse assisted the Bureau in apprehending the suspect. He further agreed in a private conversation with Director Hoover to provide ongoing secret intelligence regarding Mr. Garvey, with particular concern to his radical agenda and his ties to foreign powers.
Why would he do that?
To demonstrate his commitment to the values of his adopted land.
Brother Garvey is a hero, devoted to the liberation of a great
Pause right
people.
there. Now, you heard he said Brother Garvey is a hero, devoted to the liberation of his people. Now, remember, they arrested him on some minuscule mail fraud because he put an advertisement for a ship that he wanted that had not yet been purchased yet. So they said, oh, mail fraud, because you had to send in, I think he was asking for, I forget how much, $20-something or $2, I can't remember the price. But they said, oh, mail fraud. To this day, he's still listed as a criminal, and they have every year, every 4 years, a new president comes. Jamaica writes, many brothers and sisters in England and America write the president and say, can you remove his name or pardon him from the crime he allegedly committed? The answer is no. Even your president, Obama, said no. Why? They didn't want our people to see him as any kind of a hero at all. Okay? Play on.
But you are not. You are just a peddler and a pimp, sitting in a jail cell.
I am a businessman and a follower of Christ.
You agree to cooperate. You can
Stop.
go on.
He said he's a follower of. A lot of people like to say that the great leaders of the past didn't deal with the Bible. They all dealt with the Bible. The Bible is the key to our liberation. Do y'all understand that? Come on now. Come on back.
Pretending to be anything you want. You don't, and I will make sure you never see daylight in America again.
Sufficient unto the days the evil thereof.
I cannot hear you.
I said yes.
Yes. What?
Yes, sir.
So they flipped him. Y'all saw that? Now, what did he mumble under his breath?
Sufficient is the evil of a day. You know what I'm talking about? And Christ said that. Sufficient is the day of the evil thereof. I mean, it's evil every day, pretty much.
But this is how they get you to become that's not a paid employee. That's a confidential informant. Okay, everybody with me so far? That's how they get you. They get you on something. Now I'm going back to the Weasel, back to EZEKIEL, who remember he had doing the not welfare. What was that crap? When you get fired from a job and you collect unemployment, and he was collecting from New Jersey and New York, and he got a letter stating he owed thousands upon thousands. Right after, and I slept. I let my senses slip. How did that? All that went by me. I saw it. I heard him. I said, "You better fix that thing." Then years later, Shazam! There's a tape which from 2 to 3 years he was recording people. I'm like, this dude got flipped. He's the devil, that spick devil. That is some evil stuff. Now, there's another brother. Y'all might know who I'm talking. I ain't gonna mention his name. Where they asked the brother to be now this is over. I ain't gonna even say where, because they're gonna figure it out. They asked the brother to be a confidential informant. So my first thought was, do it. We ain't doing nothing but teaching the Bible. But then the thought comes, what if they plant something on us and set us up? That's what a CFI can do also. You know, and this is why we want to make sure that the deep cleans is done. Make sure y'all get on point. After we get offline, I'm gonna mention the deep clean. Like under this table here. No. Cannot be. So this is how they get you, brothers and sisters. Don't sleep on the sisters. Never sleep on the women. Like I told y'all, in the court, the brother's been found guilty. Hey, you're going to get to judgment. And our condolences definitely to the family of our sister Joy. We pray they find the body. Anyway, I told you the idiots that was with us, one dude came from ISUPK, joined Esau against us. On the stand, one sister went up there and said their security is set up like this. The women sit over here, the men sit over here. They got 3 doors, there's several exits. Gave the whole layout. Pointed out who the captain's in the courtroom. There's the captain right there. I'm sitting there like, that's not normal stuff. This is stuff planned. Understand what I'm saying? All of that. Go back to the article now. Go right back to the
Bishop,
article.
you forgot. Which one of y'all sisters in here, a man told you to call them master? Right. Because she said that we order the sisters to call us master. What school is that's going on? Please tell me now, in any location we have where the women are being ordered to call the men master. Okay, remember, when it was time to take down Christ, they got people to false witnesses, just like you see it now. They trying to catch this man to find out did he do something to her. What that got to do with the layout of the school and titles of the people in the organization and making things up, saying that we say for the woman to call the men master. Yo, the lies was unbelievable. That's why I said, you know what? I'm only staying quiet. I got to give you rope. That's the way I am. I know some idiot gonna say something, and then that's when let the games begin. So I just got to sit back and watch who's feeding into the lies and the rhetoric and the nonsense. That's where we are, right? It don't even make no sense to address it now. I just need to see how stupid the people are. That's where I'm at.
Right, like I'm gonna give you an example of how stupid you could be. Let's say, for example, I go to a store, I go to a Walmart, and I encounter an employee. An employee's rude, disrespectful. Do I go and blame the entire Walmart for the act of one man?
Exactly.
In that place?
And tell you where the whole layout of the Walmart is.
The whole Walmart, where the cashier is at.
Where they got the
janitor
signs.
puts his bucket. Yo, you're retarded, man. That's retarded. So that's an example of what I mean. When it comes to Edom and Negroes experience rude employees, the company will deal with that employee alone. They will not address the entire business itself. That's common sense. But the Negro will go, oh man, I was wronged by him. They're all evil. You know how retarded that is? That's the mind of the black. That's the mind of a black person. That's the mind.
Let me tell you how dumb condo men can be. You know, like, yeah, we might sit here and saying that, you know, for me this, then there's set brothers that. But at the end of the day, like Bishop just said, what just happened is not norm. So we are already more smarter than you, more ahead of you. We already know your game. You understand? So don't thinking we stupid. You know what I mean? Your mistake is our eyes. You understand? So when you see things like that, this is what they got to do with anything. To shun you, even though they're women, be very mindful, man. There's a lot of women too.
The scriptures let you know that you'll know who a set of friends shall be known in adversity. Right. And you know who your real enemies are when things go wrong. You imagine this group bragging that they've been around since the 1960s. It's now coming from total double Israelite group, got nothing to do with what's going on. I want to go and testify. Okay, ISUPK member down there in England saying, I want to go into, for what? This got nothing to do with you. Okay, but that's how the Most High make things out. I told y'all before things go down, Most High gonna separate the real from the fake.
And they give all those speeches about the white man, the white man, the white man. They're the first ones in the trial on the stand to testify, and not to testify against the brother, to testify against Israel United in Christ.
Right.
Like we were on trial. We didn't do nothing.
Exactly. If you got evidence against him that could bring it out and prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's wicked and he did it, do that. We applaud you. Right. But the purpose of him coming there was for what? Y'all got to ask yourself, for what? Okay? It was just to say, now I see that there's a chance to bring these niggas down. I'm going in. Okay?
Exactly. So Deacon Yalsop made a point. He just sent me a text. Remember how they killed Fred Hampton? When his friend gave the layout of his where he sleeps, of his house, where he sleeps, his where the bed is located and all that. And that's how when the police came, they knew exactly where to shoot to kill him. And Fred Hampton was what, 20-something years old? And they murdered him. That's what they did. That friend gave the layout of the house of where he.
Or today, the layout of bank accounts.
Right, exactly.
The layout of ranking systems. It's the same thing. Same
Exactly.
traitorous Noah died, a prophetess, and Nehemiah. It's the same ones.
Exactly.
Same spirits back again, doing the same thing again.
Yep. Let's go back to this. We had right there, Officer Leon.
The 2018 threat guidance states it is challenging to get sources into BIE groups due to security measures.
Stop! That's what I was just talking about. They wanted to know the security of the school. He said it's challenging to get sources into BIE groups due to security measures these groups employ. They said their security, if they're checking everybody, how are we going to get things in? You had the women out there saying, a woman, the security is like this. They got X amount of sisters doing the women, X amount of brothers doing the, and they always cry on the stand. Nobody did nothing to them but to make it emotional.
Yes.
You got to be kidding me. I'll tell you, keep going. And guess what? What they do to us, all these other where's the camera at? Where the camera I'm supposed to be looking at? All you other Israelite groups who are quiet at the evil that's going on, they coming for you next. Once they get rid of us, they coming for you next. They going to get rid of you.
And we're going to see how organized you are. They say that'll never happen here. Oh, us, you join us. We won't never let that happen here. Let's see how strong you are with all that mouth.
Exactly. Come on.
It is challenging to get sources into BIE groups due to security measures these groups employ. The vetting process and time investment to gain access to leadership.
Oh, wait, I forgot. Remember there was a sister in Canada who was against security.
Yes.
Don't do security.
No, don't want none of her friends to be searched. Now she's doing her own school now. There's only one school in Ottawa. One school in Ottawa. Okay? Let me make that clear to you. Okay? So we've had that. And we're trying to explain, look, this is for your safety. Right. No, we don't care about your friends. Let them stay home and watch our live. We know what we're preparing for. We know what we're up against. Okay? Go ahead. Continue.
Go ahead, Officer Leon.
Yes, sir. The vetting process and time invested to gain access to leadership in BIE groups is very lengthy.
You see that? Go ahead.
The use of undercover employees and online covert employees.
Wait. Online covert employees. Highlight that for us. That's social media. That's what I be telling y'all. Don't know who you're talking to. I got 5,000 friends. Half of them are online covert employees.
And those are the ones that go, sacrifice, blood sacrifice.
Right.
Or the videos with no face, or the voices distorted. Mm-hmm. That's them. The ones that go to each group and say, he said it about you. It's talking about you. They'll go to each camp and cause dissension. That's the covert online employees. And other camps are so retarded and dumb, they think they believe it.
Feed into it and repeat it.
Believe it and repeat it.
And put it in videos and put it up like it's golden. It's just like you said. At one time, I was telling you, brothers, look, monitor it because we're too busy. We can't keep up. Bro, I had to tell them, stop sending me the posts. Only send me the posts of this person, and this person, because you know a lot of them are fake. And you can't keep monitoring all of them. So I said, I only want the key persons here. I'm specific on who I want.
Or they'll put up themselves on Facebook under women's names. It'll be a man posing as a female.
Yes.
You know who you are. Posing as a female.
Yes.
The Conquistador doing that too. Yeah. Posing as a female on Facebook and saying, I am IUIC, putting up incriminating pictures of us.
Right.
I am this, I am that. You think you slick? You know
okay. All of a sudden these memes come up where everybody picture and stuff typed on it. You started that. We know who you are. You edited video to lie on me. That trend started by you.
That's the Weasel?
That's right. Okay, the Conquistador.
Yes. Wow. And guess what, Wetback? We know who you are too. You ain't going to escape. God got your judgment for you because you always been a nobody. All right. Where we at?
Damn.
Hey, we get everybody. We get the niggas, the spicks, and the wetbacks. We are equal opportunists. We gonna get you all. And if you're Chinese, oh, you're the flat-faced Chinese boy. We got you too.
The highway level, the one of the people on the highway.
Don't talk about the Chinese people. Where are we at? I'm sorry.
The use
Start from the use, yeah.
The use of undercover employees and online covert employees in BIE investigations would provide valuable intelligence to assist in mitigating the threat.
See, like Deacon Laba mentioned, during the time of Malcolm X and King, the people that worked in law enforcement, many of them had the decency to say, listen, I work for law enforcement, okay? I want you to know in advance so you don't find something out later on. Or we what?
They said, I was told to wire your car.
Right.
Right.
You brothers, just let us know. Don't sit among us like snakes. Right over here, IT guys. You know what I'm saying, right? Because we know some of y'all are snakes. Just be honest with us. Just be honest with us. Just tell us.
We'll still let you sit and learn.
You can still sit and learn and do what you're doing in here.
Yes.
But just be a man. Come out and just tell us straight.
You know what the problem is? A lot of you think that the all-seeing eye is Esau, and you don't understand that there's a God more powerful than him. Okay? You have no fear of God. So because you're in that level of ignorance where you believe that they are the supreme power, you're going to find out the hard way from the black hand of God.
Yes. Where we at?
Field officers will evaluate their need for an open type 3 assessment file in regards to BIE. An open assessment file allows for greater proactive collection techniques should the BIE threat emerge in the wake of a police-involved incident that sparks potential BIE activity.
That's why we tell you when there's police activity, get off the streets. Do not get involved with this stuff. Give me that scripture in Timothy. Don't entangle themselves with the affairs of this life. 2 Timothy 2, thank you. We are not to be caught up in any riots. We are not to be caught up in any protests. When people, we've been called to come to protest, and our response is only if we can teach the Bible. The second they say, no, you can't teach the Bible, then we're not going. We have nothing to do with it. We are the sons of God. We are the prophets of the Lord. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Read that over to Leon.
2 Timothy 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life.
No man that warreth entangles himself with the affairs of this life. Don't get caught up in a marching and a protest. Because in the marching and the protest, you got your lesbians, you got your homosexuals, you got your drug dealers throwing rocks and all that, protesting, I am a man, all this. We have nothing to do with that. We are to exalt the voice and shake the hand. You men understand that thing, right? I hope you do. Some of y'all look clueless, but in time. Come on, where we at, Officer Leon? Back here.
Yes, sir. The Bureau, field officers.
And whoever's following these snakes in the grass, these undercover, these the alphabet boys, the online coverts, you're an idiot. Men or women, men and women. You're following people that tried covertly to take down an organization. They failed. And you're following them saying, they're a man of God. You're an idiot. And you're going to get the same judgment they get. I hope y'all understand that. I'm talking about y'all online. Come on.
Field officers will evaluate their need for an open Type 3 assessment file in regards to BIE. An open assessment file allows for greater proactive collection techniques should the BIE threat emerge in the wake of a police-involved incident that sparks potential BIE activity. The Bureau appears particularly interested in ascertaining BIE groups, organizational structure, as well as their alleged ties to criminal organizations.
Now, we have no ties to criminal organizations, but you see that first part? They want to structure. It says ascertaining BIE groups, organizational structure. That's why they're asking, what is the ranking system? Who's the head? Who's the second in command? What's the security like? That went from London to here. I understand what's going on. I don't want y'all to sleep. It's going to trickle down. Go ahead.
The FBI needs a better understanding of the hierarchy and structure of BIE groups and how these groups train/work with one another. and criminal organizations, the guidance states.
And this is why they are so key on trying to divide the Israelite camps, cause dissension. One group will say something, they'll send us the video, it's either talking about you, or we'll make a statement, or another group will say a statement. And these people on social media say, look what they're saying about you, and they'll exacerbate the situation. And it's something so small and trivial. And you get dumb Israelite camps, you know who you is, who run with it, run with the foolishness.
Hey, that's why some of them keep it going. A lot of times y'all ask, why is there a division amongst you? You got to ask, who's the one that's keeping it going? Who's the one that's constantly, always, every time they go to speak to the people, your job is to raise up the nation. So why you keep bringing somebody else up? You got to look. It's just like the bishop is saying. There's an agenda behind that. We've seen that on YouTube since, I remember when we was just in the bishop's house, just coming out of his house. As soon as he hit YouTube by himself, you already had a whole swarm of people on him talking about him every single week. He wasn't no threat then. It was almost like somebody was like, yo, keep talking about him, keep talking about him, keep talking about him. It was almost like it was control. Every single minute they bringing him up, putting his picture up. Okay? So these are the things that you don't know. Okay? That we came from humble beginnings to where we are now. Okay? The hand of God was behind what you see now.
That's right.
Okay? And we can prove it. Dumb clowns that you see that keep bringing up the stuff that it's like it's their day job, there's another hand behind them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's up they behind.
Yep. Hey, here's another point that Asaph didn't bring up. Remember this? The weasel went calling around.
Oh, yes. He has recordings of other Israelite groups that he was trying to incite to come against us. Okay? And I've heard it, so I'm not making this up. I know for a fact that he was calling other groups and calling other people. And some of them, like I said, some of them saw that he was doing and called me back and let me know, yo, watch this guy. Okay? So we're not stupid. A lot of stuff I don't bring out until it's the right time. Okay?
When you have...
I'm going to bring it out, he said. I'm just going to bring it out.
Yeah, you know, when you have other camp, you know what I mean? Like some other camp, they're like demonic spirit. When you have other camp saying, that guy right there, he's a snake after snake. Even though that demon, that is a demon, he called him like he's above demon. He said, yo, that demon, that northern kingdom, he's above all demon for him to roll like that, man.
Exactly. And again, if y'all following that weasel, shame on you. You're an idiot. Come on.
Although the document says that many recent lethal BIE incidents have been conducted by BIE lone offenders, it does not cite any specific cases. The guidance also references legal and seemingly innocuous activities as key threat indicators.
Now you notice it says, although the document says that many recent lethal BIE incidents have been conducted by BIE lone offenders, it does not cite any specific cases. Right, that's a lie. So a lone offender does not, like you were saying earlier, that doesn't paint the entire group. You get one idiot that does something. Oh, they're all like that. Remember the dude that shot the transvestite? Yeah. We had put the dude up like 3 or 4 months earlier. Yeah. He shoots somebody, and then they say, oh, IUIC is teaching to shoot transgender people. We never taught that. You won't find one video of us ever teaching that.
ISUPK is the one that keeps repeating it to this day. So we're being specific. They are the ones that keep repeating. The guy's wife came and said openly, he's not with us. Y'all don't remember they went to his Facebook page to try to find stuff to tie him with us? Even the law enforcement had to leave it alone. The only person still repeating it is ISUPK.
And all of that is these online people are trying to pit. Because remember during the time of, I'm going to watch this, during the Black Panthers, they each were receiving letters allegedly from each other, and they found out later it wasn't from each other, that was condemning them, revealing their secrets, things like that. But it was the FBI sowing discord amongst the leadership, and that's how it all fell apart. That was one of the reasons it fell apart. So likewise today online, you got these people trying to cause dissent, disunity in Israel. That's what's going on. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's go on.
The guidance also references legal and seemingly innocuous activities as key threat indicators, including attempts to identify the names or vehicles of law enforcement officers. Threat mitigation strategy Iron Fist. Iron Fist, an FBI program not known to the public prior to the publication of these documents, was a strategy implemented by FBI headquarters to mitigate what is considered to be a threat posed by the BIE movement. Iron Fist is designed to evolve and adapt to the ever-changing threat posed by BIEs, to proactively address this priority domestic terrorism target by focusing FBI.
How are they going to call black identity extremists domestic terrorism? It's only white folks who are the domestic terrorists. Go ahead.
By focusing FBI operations via enhanced intelligent collection efforts. A 2018 FBI threat guidance document states. At the same time, the Bureau also considered white supremacist extremists a priority domestic terrorism target.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Iron Fist will accomplish this by identifying actionable intelligence to directly support the initiation of FBI investigations and augment current efforts directed against BIEs. In addition, FBI headquarters works to develop potentials CHS, confidential human sources, and conduct assessments on the current BIE CHS base.
This CHS, confidential human sources, is informants. That's what it is. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Iron Fist also includes a tactic by which the FBI would use the felony status of many black identity extremists against them. Many BIEs are convicted felons who are prohibited possessors. Therefore, the FBI will continue to use their prohibited possessor status.
Hey, when we were in Amsterdam, there was a reporter that said, she asked me, it was me, Yawasab, Kanai was there, and she was asking, she said, so have you been arrested before? I said, no. She said, was your life a struggle, a turmoil? No. She says, so have you been very impoverished all your life? I'm like, no. I said, where are you going with this? She said, it's my understanding that only the down and out will even listen to the. I said, oh, you're thinking about Islam. So she says, isn't the majority of your organization felons? I said, no. I said, there may be felons among us. I'm sure there are, but that is not the bulk and majority. I said, and that goes by what they're saying here. They think that this is a movement of prison criminals, and it's white folks. You don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Hold on, Bishop. The only people we're gonna prison is to Christ. Then we're gonna come here, conquer what we need to conquer. These are the 144.
That's right. All praises. Come on.
Therefore, the FBI will continue to use.
Where are you at? Where are you at? I lost the place.
Many BIEs are convicted felons who are prohibited possessors. Therefore, the FBI will continue.
Talking about possessors of like weapons.
Yes. Therefore, the FBI will continue to use their prohibited.
That's why we tell y'all, don't have a weapon unless it's legal and licensed. Go ahead.
Therefore, the FBI will continue to use their prohibited possessor status as a tactic to assist in mitigating the threat for potential violence, the document states. Little else.
Black people doing mass shootings. Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Little else is revealed about Iron Fist in the documents.
Because it's ever evolving. That's what it said up above. Go ahead.
White supremacy extremists.
Oh, to hell with them. Let's go back to Galatians. Back to no, not good. Gives me Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. We all know who the white extremists are. We know you are the mass murderers of the planet. Talk about black people. Tyrone Bigham shot 2 people. Yeah. And how much did give me a white name? Chuck Avery. How many did Timothy McVeigh killed? How about that? The Christian Timothy McVeigh. How many did he kill?
They're not asking what church he went to.
Exactly.
How come vocab ain't trying to find out what church? 2 major killings just passed. And nobody don't want to know what church they went to. You see the hypocrisy?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Go ahead, Officer Leon.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10.
Now this is about white folks, the evil. Go ahead.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Go ahead.
Let us not spare the widow.
Don't spare the widow.
Nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age.
That's what explained in Deuteronomy 28, verse 49 down, when Rome came. Go ahead.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
That's why when a white man conquers, he sets up his law, courts of law. He sets up his churches. And he says, let our strength be the law of justice. Why? So that they can cause mischief. They can charge a black man with 5 years for selling crack, and a white man gets very little time for selling heroin. That's what they do. Like, watch this. Wait, me and my wife was looking at something today. Bear with me a second. It's about a white boy who got arrested for he raped somebody. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Find me that article. It's quick. It's real short. Dag, where is it? Is it on a family chat? Let me see. Bear with me a sec. I got it. Copy. Now I'm going to show you. Watch this. Dag. Let me know if you get it over there. Okay, you see that? CBS 12? Okay. Watch this. Jonah, you sent me a video. Is that the right video? No. Okay. The one with Darfur Perry. Oh, you didn't check it out. Is that it? Is that what I was asking for? You got it? Okay. All right, so look at this. We ain't even gonna look at it. It says, Iowa teen accused of raping 1-year-old won't do jail time. Y'all see this? This is how they do in their law system, in their courts of law. You can't make this stuff up. Go down. This is in Iowa. In Iowa, that's how I'll never move to Iowa. God forbid. An Iowa teen accused of raping a 1-year-old girl won't do any jail time. Yeah, I don't even want to read no more. I'm just pissed off. Lascivious act with a child. Go ahead. Go find me the part. Find me the clip. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. And we got a message where somebody said, did I have to do a 2 to 3 hour class about rape? Yes. Very important. As many black men get caught up in that damn thing. I'm talking about statutory, particularly statutory. And this devil rapes a 1-year-old and does no jail time. You can't make this stuff up. They hold us to, I'll tell you. All right. Yeah, this is Darfur Perry. He was a informant. He working on the COINTELPRO for the FBI. Okay.
Special agent.
You got the exact timestamp we want, right? Okay, 5:20 to 7:20. Blow it up big. Listen to what he says.
He said that he wanted to talk to me, and the offer was still good about me working for him. Again, I told him no, I was not interested. Then told me that I should be interested because they could help me with a problem that I had. And I told him I didn't have any problems that I knew of. He said, oh, yes, you remember the possession of stolen? I said, yeah, well, that's summary probation, man. I just write a letter in every month. He said, oh, no, that's not summary probation. It turned out it's a felony probation for 3 years, which means you have to report in every week.
To bring it down to a nutshell, what happened?
What happened was that as far as they were concerned, it was felony probation now. And if when you jump probation, that means they can put you in for the rest of the term of the probation, which came through about 2 years and 10 months.
And so they threatened you with that?
Yes, they did.
Why didn't you stand up to that?
I called the probation office in Sacramento first. They told me a warrant was out for my arrest and that I was going to jail.
Did you have any particular fear of jail?
Yes. I don't like to be shut in. I have a very, very dark fear of being shut up anywhere.
How would they have known this?
The only way they could have known that is from my psychological profile when I went into military intelligence, which they take on all people that work in military intelligence.
So you bent and you decided to go to work for them?
Yes.
How would you...
See that? That's how they got him to flip on a lot of the black groups, black organizations. Okay? That's how they get you. So when a brother gets locked up, now if it's nothing, we help bail you out, but we're going to keep an eye on you. So watch this guy right here. That might have flipped him. All right? So we was in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11 again.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
That's what they do. They use the law to bend us. Go ahead.
For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is a clean contrary to our doings. Mm-hmm. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressing of our education.
You see that? Go ahead.
He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
This is talking about us. Go ahead.
He was made to reprove our thoughts.
Yep.
He is grievous unto us even to behold.
They hate the way we look. They hate what's coming out of our mouths. He is grievous unto us even to behold. Go ahead.
For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion.
Right, because we keep the commandments. Go ahead.
We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Counterfeits meaning fake, false, fake Jews. They're not the real Israelites. They are counterfeits. Go ahead.
He abstained from our ways as from filthiness.
We abstain from their customs, their holidays, like it's doo-doo on a stick. Stay the hell away from it. Go ahead.
He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed.
Our end is going to be blessed. Go ahead.
And maketh his boast that God is his father.
And God is our father. Go ahead.
Let us see if his words be true.
Mm-hmm.
And let us prove what shall happen in the end of him.
Y'all see this? Go ahead.
For if the just man be the son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies.
Oh, don't worry. Although they made a mockery, the day shall come.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine, and were deceived, for their own wickedness hath blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not.
See that? This is why when y'all see the video, what was that video with Sam Kestelman? I forgot the name of it. The last interview I did with him. Remember, he was asking, when is the Lord returning? When is the end of this world? That's why it says here, as for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. They want to know. Believe me, all our enemies, black, white, Latino, all of them, everybody's watching these videos to see what we bring out. So that they can know when the end time is.
You know what's heavy about that, Bishop? Remember in the New Testament, why did they send the men to find out where Christ was when he was an infant? Right. Because they believed what the scriptures say concerning him. So they sent people, they said, find him. I want to talk to him. I want to know where he is. And remember, the men found him, they worship him, and they didn't go back. Right. Okay, so you don't understand, as I said before, how spiritual this is. They got their devils and their minions out there. The Most High got his angels out there restructuring the whole program so that his program works.
Exactly.
Okay?
All praises, all praises. Go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 now, in verse 1. This goes into us and the wicked Israelites that follow Esau.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him.
See that? We're going to be afflicted. Go ahead.
And made no account of his labors.
And made no account of our labors. Go ahead.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for.
Because the scriptures prophesy the chariots, Christ is going to come with the angels to deliver us. Ain't going to be no dinosaurs like they making joke of. That ain't happening. But the scriptures say Christ and the angels will come to deliver us. And we got to believe that thing. Go ahead.
And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit.
Now, this is the wicked Israelites. Remember, at that time, you had scribes and Pharisees. So today, you got dumb niggas and spicks and wetbacks who love Esau so much and do his bidding. It says, and they what?
Repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of reproach.
Right, because they make a mockery of us. Whatever Esau do, these our enemies amongst our own people are doing too. Go ahead.
We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor.
That Bible. Y'all teaching that Bible. The hell with it. Go ahead.
How is he numbered among the children of God? And his lot is among the saints.
That's right. We are. Go ahead.
Therefore have we erred from the way of truth.
These blacks, Latinos that are against this truth, like many of them on social media, it says they have erred from the way of truth. Go ahead.
And the light of righteousness have not shined unto us.
So you could do a million videos why you left IUIC. Just name it why you left the truth. Call it that. Go ahead.
And the Son of Righteousness rose not upon us.
Right. The way of truth has not risen on none of them that left. The Uzaliah, the Weaseleals, and the macaronis and cheese.
Hey, Bishop.
It didn't rise on them. I just had to say it. It get on my nerves.
They telling him he's not an Israelite now.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, yeah, right.
His own people now that he was defending is telling him he's not an Israelite no more.
Right.
The spy, the video editing recorder. Okay? So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now they're denouncing you as an Israelite.
Exactly. And we knew it was going to happen. We said, watch. They're going to fall apart and start attacking each other. That's exactly what's happening. Read verse 6 again.
Therefore have we erred from the way of truth.
So all of you that ran up out of here speaking evil, you have erred from the way of truth.
And the light of righteousness have not shined unto us.
You have no righteousness, no light of righteousness. The way of truth you do not know. Go ahead.
And the Son of Righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction.
So do your videos, do your Facebook posts day after day. You what?
Your BBC interviews.
Do your BBC interviews.
And do your thought activities, twerking on Instagram.
Exactly.
Thought queens. Continue doing that too.
Go ahead.
We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts, where they lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
This is why we say, y'all that follow them, follow those clowns, they don't know the way of the Lord. And they don't know the scriptures. And you're following them. You're an idiot.
Can we read that again, Bishop?
We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness.
You know what it means to weary yourself? That's what they're doing every single day. How can you wake up every day and IUIC this and IUIC that and video after video? You don't have no life. I don't have no time to keep putting a video like that. Following everybody, Instagram, YouTube, making up lies, editing videos. It said what? Read it again.
We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness.
So you have to ask yourself, who is wearying themselves now? Who constant, not a week go by without a post? You don't have no life? You don't have no wife? You don't have no family? You don't have no job? You weary yourself in the way of wickedness. Okay? And that goes for you other camps also. That keep anytime you open your mouth, it's supposed to bring repentance to Israel, to bring our people to repent. But you gossiping and talking and lying about somebody else. You're wearying yourself in the way of wickedness. You're being used by the devil, and you're going to be dismissed later on, and it's going to be revealed what type of person you really are.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
That's right. Now, give me the next video about the next informant against the black. This is the guy that set up Fred Hampton to be murdered, and this was Fred Hampton's friend. William O'Neill. William O'Neill, that's his name. Thank you, Yawasab. William O'Neill. It's short. It's a minute, 38 seconds. He's the one that gave the FBI the layout plan and the time that Fred Hampton would be home to murder him. And Fred Hampton was early 20. That was a young man. What was he? Like 21, somewhere around there. Go ahead.
Party leaders Mark Clark and Fred Hampton were killed in the raid. 4 of the 7 surviving occupants of the apartment were wounded. All were charged with assault and attempted murder.
And I remember walking out of the office and looking through a little clearing over on the next block, which was right in front of the Monroe Street address, and seeing a lot of police cars over there. And at that time, Bobby Rush came to the office. He had just come from over there, or maybe the coroner's office. In any case, we walked back over there, and we both were speechless. We just walked through the house and saw what had taken place and where he died, and it was shocking. And then I was, I just began to realize that the information that I supplied leading up to that moment had facilitated that raid. I knew that indirectly I had contributed, and I felt it, and I felt bad about it. And then I got mad, and then I had to conceal those feelings, which made it worse. I couldn't say anything. I just had to continue to play the role.
FBI headquarters authorized payment of a $300 bonus to informant William O'Neill for, quote, uniquely valuable services which he rendered over the past several months.
30 pieces
unquote.
of silver. He got 30 pieces of silver for betraying his friend. He felt bad. See, they're going to get a terrible judgment from the Lord. And all you men in here, you men and women that's got that spirit on, you're going to get judged by God. That's what Judas got. That's why he couldn't do nothing but kill himself. Just kill yourself then. Hey, Lord, I'm sorry I did something evil. Give me the knife. I'm going to kill myself. The hell is this? Now you're going to edit that and go, look what he said.
Hey, Bishop. Hey, give me what Christ says. Go hang yourself. Because they need to hear it out of our Lord and Savior's mouth. He said, before you cause an offense, you should go and it's better for you to put a millstone around your neck and drown yourself.
Yeah, get that one.
Okay?
So you know it's scriptural. Matthew 18, get that? Get that. So you know that this ain't our words. This is what the Son of God said. So before you think about betraying people like some of y'all did, this is what you need to do. Go ahead, Officer Liam. Come on.
Yes, I found Matthew chapter 18 and verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones.
The little ones is not so much talking about children. It's talking about those little ones that follow the Lord. Men, women, and children that follow the Lord, the Son of God. We believe in this Bible. We believe we're the Israelites. We keep his commandments. We are the little ones. Go ahead.
Which believe in me. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
So Christ said it's better you go kill yourself than betray one of the little ones.
See, we have to clear that up because, as I said before, we don't want nobody. That's the newest thing. Watch our whole class and edit 14 seconds.
Right.
Okay, and see if it can spread like wildfire on Facebook and YouTube and whatever. You are the most evil people I ever saw on this earth.
And they're not Israelites. That's why the Romans 9 said they are not all Israel,
right?
Which are of Israel.
They are not all Israel. A lot of you are tares. Okay, that's why the scriptures give you the parable of the wheat and the tares. The ones of you who are tares, Satan has said that the wicked one has crept in. That's you. Read the parable, that's you. And Satan just let you sit back a while until you decided you can't make no more money or you can't get nothing more, and then he activated you.
That's why Christ told Judas to go ahead and do it, because Satan stepped into Judas. Satan came out and said, I'm going to step in this dude and do it myself. Right. He stepped into Judas and made him betray Christ.
Exactly. And you got to think about it. Like Blue Waffle. I took one picture with this chick. Just one picture. This one, remember there was a time I said, I ain't taking no more pictures. I take a photo, and remember when I took a photo with the dude that shot the guy in the face? That was all over the internet. I met that dude one time. The blue chick, I met her once. Me and my wife, we met her one time. See, I know them. No, I don't know you. You don't know me.
That's right.
Even the Weasel, when he left New York, was it 5 years ago? We would see him once on Passover for about 10 minutes.
Yes, for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
No
all of a sudden,
with
all this evil we did again. Bro, for 5 years, we saw you for only 10 minutes. What do? We haven't seen you in 5 years. Once on Passover for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, we say shalom, and we go about it. There's like thousands of people at Passover. We say shalom, Weasel, and that's it. Now Weasel, oh, they did something to me. They did this to me. Mita, Esposita. Oh, come on. The hell is this?
Damn, I told you, man. That brother right here, man. You know, out of every brothers, we all, you know what I mean? Let that brother right here leave a statement. You know what is his statement, Bishop? He's wicked as hell. You know how much we help these brother? Bad divorce, we help them. We were strong for you, man. And that's how you pay us back. The Lord got your number, bro.
That's a confidential informant. Let's go back to Galatians 5. We're almost done. Confidential informants. Not you, flat face, the Chinese boy. No, you're just an idiot.
Highway boy.
Yeah, you highway boy. Toilet. What time is it? You know what? Actually, you know what? Let me just read a few. We're going to read a few more verses. I see it's almost late. We in Galatians 5. Read 12 again. No, we don't.
Some of y'all watching who are emotional about us saying what we say. The Lord makes mockery too, just so you know. Y'all emotional. They're making fun of people. The effeminate spirit come on you girly boys out there, you lady men out there, and you manly girls out there. We don't care about your opinions.
Galatians 5 and 12.
Galatians chapter 5 and verse 12. I would they were even cut off which trouble you.
What does cut off mean? What do y'all think that means? That means death. That's what Paul is saying. So when you hear us say we're not saying it based on emotionalism. It's because the scriptures say that. Read it again.
They were even
cut off which trouble you. You can't get no more Bible than that.
Nope.
Go ahead.
For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty.
We've been called into the new covenant.
Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh.
This is why we tell you, just because the Lord has risen us up to this truth that we're Israelites, we are not to use this liberty as an occasion to the flesh to go out, hurt people, destroy people's lives. Don't do it. Buying guns and knives to hurt, to overthrow society. No, that is not what this gospel is about. You men understand that? I had to put that in the video in case a dummy tries to edit what I said. Go ahead.
But by love, serve one another.
But by what does love mean, brothers?
Keep the commandments.
Keep the commandments. Love one another. Serve one another. Go ahead.
For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's how we got to deal with each other, according to God's commandments. Love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Go ahead.
But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
Biting and devouring one another goes into hating one another, envying one another, despising one another. And we have taught against that for, I was about to say centuries, and not centuries, as long as we've been in IUIC, okay? We are not to bite and devour one another. We are not to secretly record, to destroy brothers, humiliate brothers, okay? Like I said, when it was presented to me, I have an audio with Bishop Kenai doing this. I said, you go to him one-on-one. That's what you do. That's what Christ commanded us to do. Then it was squashed. Then it went up on YouTube. This is what it's talking about. Read that again, verse 15.
But if you bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
Oh, go ahead.
This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
If we walk in the commandments of the Lord, we shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, meaning evil desires. Okay, if you walk in the spirit of Christ, there will be no recording of a meeting and put up on internet.
That's right.
Because you're walking in the spirit of Christ.
And you'll be defended by him.
Exactly.
Okay, what do you think that God is stupid? That he needs you to do it? The scriptures say a man can only be crowned if he strive how? Lawfully. The stuff that they did to make their presence known, it was all unlawful. They ain't getting no crown. They may get a reward from Satan, but they ain't getting no crown from the Most High.
Exactly. We don't.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one of the other.
This is why the Apostle Paul said in Romans 7, he said, the good that I would do, that I do not. It's so hard and confusing. If you ever read Romans 7, let me show you, Romans 7:15. Yeah, he went deep. Because this was based on what he said here. The flesh lusts against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. These two are contrary one to another. Our flesh is contrary to the laws of God. Read that.
Romans 7 verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I.
Jump down to verse 19.
For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do.
See that? So he was showing you the fight between the spirit and the flesh. The flesh is your carnal mind. The spirit is the commandments of God. They're at war one against, because a lot of us, You think about, hey, you want to have sex with this woman over there? Yeah, she look good. But the Spirit says, no, thou shalt not commit adultery. You want to smoke this weed? Hell yeah, I want to smoke some weed. No, the Lord teaches us to be sober-minded. It's always an internal struggle. Like in the cartoons, they got the devil on one side and a little angel on the other. Oh, let's go with what we're reading here. Okay, but Esau put it in a cartoon fashion. All right, let's go back. Galatians 5. We're almost done. I'm going to just rush through it. We'll go through it step by step on another day.
Galatians 5, verse 17. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would.
Right, because of that struggle, that battle. That's why the scripture says, a righteous man falls how many times?
7 times.
And he getteth back up again. Doesn't say he stays down. He gets up again. Go ahead.
But if you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law.
If you be led by Christ, you're led by the laws of the Lord. You are not under the law of Moses, animal sacrifice. That's what it's going with. Go ahead.
Now the works of the flesh are manifest.
Now he's going to break down the flesh. Go ahead.
Which are these? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envying, murder, drunkenness, revelings, and such alike, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God.
So that's why you got to examine yourself, whether you be in the faith or not. Know you not your own selves, except you be reprobate. You got to ask yourself, self, am I in adultery? Am I in fornication? Am I in uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft? You got to sit down and look these words up and identify yourself. It's not for me to, I can identify some of you, but some of you I really don't know too well. So it's up to you to identify yourself, to see where you fit any of these things. Are you an emulator? Are you filled with wrath or strife, seditious, a heretic, envying, murders, drunkenness, revelings? We had to put somebody up for drunkenness a couple of weeks ago. Getting drunk, messing with the sisters. Some of you brothers, if you don't know yourself, don't drink. You sisters, you know who you is. Oh, God, women with drunk. I don't know. There's nothing worse. I've seen drunk brothers, but there's nothing worse than a drunk woman. That's the worst thing I've seen. Men may act stupid, but when a woman get drunk, oh, you ain't seen no evil. I've seen evil, some drunk women. The things they do, I'll give you an example. Should I give this example?
Yes. No, Bishop. No, not Bishop.
Okay, I'll save it for another class.
Bring it out.
Dang, they want to bring it out. They said bring it out.
That's right.
Y'all mad cool, man. Y'all cool as hell.
We already spilled enough blood now. Let's just save that for another class.
Well, this is an easy one. This is an easy one. This was a yeah. Hey, this sister was so drunk. She was yelling. She was yelling, and she laid back, put her legs in the air, and she's screaming at the brother. You saw it. And she smacked her vagina and said, "Put your thing right here." That's the drunk woman. Everybody was like, nobody knew what to say. What the hell's going on here? What the hell?
Bullets.
Yeah, it's like somebody shot you. What the hell? Just caught everybody off guard.
Hey, since he opened the door. We had an incident where it seemed like somebody was under the influence in one of our other school, a woman. And we wanted to see how far y'all was going to push that thing, because there was video. Y'all would have saw that video where it said that woman is on something. Okay? When all of y'all was saying that IUIC beat a woman up. Okay? I watched the video. Okay? That woman was not looking right in that video there. But I want to see how far Facebook, how far YouTube was going to take it, because a lot of y'all started with your lies and your gossip. So what the bishop is saying, that's why we have cameras everywhere. Okay? That was some pure wickedness what I saw.
Where we obviously let's get through it quick.
Yes, sir. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance.
Now, when you examine it, Paul gives you 9 principles of this fruit of the Spirit, and he gave you 17 negatives of the works of the flesh. So that's why you got to sit down. I'm going to go over that in another class, but it's heavy. Go ahead.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another.
I thought you want to bring something up?
I was on a little sidetrack against this. Regarding our article about BIEs, they said about police. That's a smoke screen. It's not about police at all. Esau has a habit of repeating himself to make it seem as if the whole BIE threat is about police being attacked. That's a lie. And it mentions Black Lives Matter. Remember, Black Lives Matter, well, I say allegedly, was funded by George Soros. And that whole thing with Black Lives Matter was something that was used as a preface to attack us eventually. They used Black Lives Matter as pretty much as a stepping stone to pretty much create this idea that there's a black identity stream thing growing, whatever, and that's what they use that for. I believe George Soros funded Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter is a homosexual agenda indirectly, but run by a bunch of lesbians, if I'm not mistaken, sodomitists. So it's nonsense.
Yeah, you know this.
Sodomite squad.
You notice that came on. They apologized to them. That's how you know they're the same. They went to apologize to Black Lives Matter, man. The feds, the CIA went to apologize to them. That's showing you those are the same.
Right, they all work together.
They work together.
So the Black Lives Matter was simply something that was created by the government as a doorway. Same as the Al Qaeda and ISIS. They used those groups to go, we're going to go and attack Middle East as terrorism. Same thing here. We're going to use Black Lives Matter and fight terrorism against black. It's the same ingredients, the same thing over and over again.
Deacon, that's why they denounce Al Qaeda now and say you're the real threat.
Right. But how the hell?
They created it.
You see videos of Al Qaeda going, if you don't give up our country, we'll cut this effing head off with that damn knife of the guy's head. And us in here with purple on are more dangerous than cutting somebody's head off.
Exactly.
And shooting up and going into a store and blowing ourselves up. We're more dangerous with Bibles than that. Let you know what you're in.
They can make bombs. They control the oil. They have planes. They have land, they have a government, but we're the threat. We're the extremists. You see the hypocrisy? This is what they're worried about right here. So and like the bishop said, we ain't waiting on no dinosaurs. We're not training nobody in no back to do no overthrow. This is what we're waiting for. Could you give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6. This is what we waiting on here. For any of y'all who got it twisted, for any of you who's listening to the lies, this is what we waiting on.
2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
The only payback to expect is from the hand of God. Okay? Not us. We don't have no power to do nothing. Read on.
And to you who are troubled, rest with us.
That's who we calling here. The people who are troubled by the conditions on this earth that we don't have the power to overcome or change. We don't have no financial might. We don't have no military might. We don't have no political might. We don't have no homeland. We don't have no structure. So what? Read it again.
And to you who are troubled and to you who are troubled, rest with us.
This rest in this Bible by believing that there's going to be a God that's going to right the wrongs on this earth. Read on.
When the Lord Jesus shall be revealed from heaven.
That's what they're worried about. That is what they're worried about.
That's the dinosaurs.
Yes. Okay. They took Jesus that we're telling you is coming in the Bible and replaced it with dinosaurs to make a mockery. Read it again.
And to you who are troubled, rest with us. When the Lord Jesus shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels.
That's what they're worried about. Okay. We don't control that. That's above our pay grade. Read on.
And flaming fire.
And what?
And flaming fire.
That's why we tell you you're going to get burned up. Read on.
Taking vengeance on them that know not God.
That's for all you wicked, ungodly. Listen, like I said, this ain't no black and white thing. This is a right or wrong thing. You got wicked niggas that need to get it first from the Most High. Then the other nations who are in opposition to God, that's what the Bible says. They're going to get it next. Judgments must begin at the house of Israel first. Read on.
And flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Because that's what we've been teaching. The gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thus saith the Lord. We're not making things up. This ain't the Christian church. This ain't the Catholic church. This ain't some fake Israelite group. Okay, singing you stories and bigging up their leader and telling you that their leader got you off drugs. Their leader got you out of jail. Their leader got you out of house. We ain't saying that here. We're saying that you get salvation through who? Read it again.
and that obey not the gospel of our Lord
The ones
Jesus
of you
Christ.
who don't obey Jesus Christ, don't expect this here. Okay? Because we're already seeing the people who are disobedient to what the Lord says. Read on.
Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and
That's
from the
what we're
glory
waiting
of
on.
his power.
That is what we are waiting on. Ain't nobody here with no bombs, no guns, no terrorist threats, no knives. Okay? All the push-ups in the world ain't going to be able to stop what's going on right here. All the lasers, the satellites ain't going to be able to stop what's going on in this Bible right here. Okay? It's going down.
Let's say, hey, can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah! All praises to the Most High. All praises.
So, any questions? Any spies? You want to stand up now and let us know? Give a
Hey,
testimony?
anybody want to confess they're a spy?
You want to
here?
confess you're a spy?
Just do it now if ever hold your
There's
peace.
repentance for you.
That's right.
Okay.
Bishop.
And there are some brothers with us that say where they
that's
come
it.
from,
Yeah,
and they
that's it.
tell us. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, Bishop, next time I'm going to show them. Next time.
You might be a spy too.
They never know. You never know.
You never know. You know, every time we go in the airport, they take Laba away from us and take him to a room. I got my eye on you. I'm just
famous.
saying.
I'm famous everywhere, Bishop.
Any announcements?
All right, in Ottawa, we have a new soldier. Soldier Stephen is now a soldier from Ottawa, Canada.
That's it?
All right, all praise to the Most High. Just a reminder, everyone, that the men's shirt is online as a commemorative item. So go on originalroyalty.com and get your men's conference